3.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 45 points today to 44,781. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Embarrassing day, shocking day. You shouldn't be at North Carolina and lose to a Group of 5 team, period. There are no excuses. It can only come back to one person, and that's me. I've hired everybody on this staff. I hired everybody that works in this building, and I've signed every player on this team. So, the people that want to blame me, they should, because I am at fault, 100%.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan on a Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. You may like the guy, you may not like the guy, you may think he deserved to be fired, you may think he deserves to have the job. Never fun to talk about somebody being told their job is no longer theirs on a holiday week, but that's what happened this morning. Mack Brown, head coach, North Carolina Tar Heels football program, fired. With the caveat being he will get to coach against NC State this weekend one last time for the rivalry. The who will coach in the bowl game still up for grabs, but the winningest coach in UNC football history, when you combine Mack Brown 1.0 and Mack Brown 2.0, is no longer the head coach at UNC of the future. Final stats, 113 wins, 78 losses, and a tie. That is a 59% win percentage. Mack Brown 2.0, 44 wins, 32 losses. It's a 57% win percentage. Now, we've done a lot of reacting here on 99.9 The Fan today. We were live this morning as the news happened. Adam Gold, his assortment of guests, and he and Victoria reacting in real time over the last 3 hours. I want to hear from you. 919-860-5326. Call it a Tuesday sound off. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Mack Brown informed the team earlier today. Everybody is on the same page. The head coach job no longer his beyond this season. Maybe no longer his beyond the end of the regular season. We still have to see who coaches the bowl.
Yeah, my take on this is that he will probably be out by Sunday. His office will be cleaned out by Sunday. That way
he's on a golf course.
Because if you're hiring a new head coach, you don't want the old head coach still kind of lingering around, if that makes sense, when that coach was fired. If there's a retirement, that's a little bit different.
If there's a transitioning to the upper advisory, then maybe. But
that's a little bit different.
I mean, at least the way the first reports came out, Matt Zenitz of 247 Sports and CBS Sports had it first. The word fired was used, which does change the dynamic a bit. And the question is obviously, why now? Could you not wait a week? Because not just the holidays. I mean, I do feel for those that have major job news like that given to them around the holidays. But if you're going to let him coach the rest of the season, why not let him coach the rest of the season? There's a few parts to that. One, I do think the NC State game complicates things. You don't want to make it look like you lost the NC State game, so you're fired. You also don't want to make it so you won the NC State game, you ended a losing streak against your rival, and now we're firing you. So this kind of takes it out of that hand. Also, I do think Mack Brown had been saying a little more emphatically that he wanted to come back, kind of forcing the hand of UNC. Right? There was the reports that he was telling those within the program that he was coming back next year. Earlier this week, he talked about having conversations with Bubba Cunningham, conversations he hadn't had yet, and basically saying he expected to be back, which does semi-force the hand of the school to go, if you're going to keep saying that, we're going to say what we want to say. Matt in Burlington is on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. We have opened up the phone lines for reactions to Mack Brown's firing. The number is 919-860-5326 if you want to call in. We'll start with Matt in Burlington. Matt, thank you very much for calling. What's your reaction to the Mack Brown news?
Hey Tim, my first reaction is, it was well timed. I know a lot of people's been talking on the radio today about they didn't really understand it, but I think it gives him the ability to go out on top there. If he does beat State, he can go out on a high note. He gets the praise from the fans on the way out. I think he deserves that after everything. I think that the main problem with the Mack 2.0 era was the ability to develop both the offensive and defensive line. He had a lot of big-time recruits on both lines. You look at Zach Rice, you look at Travis Shaw, you look at Desmond Evans. They were all five-star recruits, and none of them really ever improved since they got there. And I think that's going to be the biggest downfall. He did improve with the high school coaches, which was much needed after the Doro debacle. But overall, I thank him for his service to the university, but it was time to make a change.
Appreciate the call. And I mean, I guess I'll ask you this. Do you think this, you kind of made it seem like this NC State game is, a chance for everybody to say goodbye. Do you think that's the vibe that's going to be? How does it change that NC State game knowing that you don't need to add any emotions to a rivalry game where everybody's already jacked up in every different way?
Yeah, I think that regardless of what's happened this year, I think that he still has the locker room. I don't think he's lost the locker room. I don't think they would have went on that stretch in the middle of the year without losing the locker room. So I think that the players are going to be extra fired up. Obviously, they needed to be extra fired up because they haven't beat State in years. So maybe this will help get them over the top and send him out on a high note.
Appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. That was the Heister Automotive Group hotline, open for your reactions to Mack Brown being notified he is fired as UNC head football coach. 919-860-5326. I could see this as maybe a forced, you're gonna sit there and let us thank you for Mack Brown. I don't think he is somebody that wanted the retirement tour. I don't think he wanted to announce, this offseason that he was retiring at the end of next season and handpick his replacement. I think he wanted to coach football up until the very end, until someone said you're not allowed to anymore. And this news coming out today ahead of the NC State game and him still coaching the NC State game, does in a small way make it so you're going to hear our applause whether you want to or not. And it does give UNC a chance to have that. It does change the NC State game. I'll put it that way. It does. It makes it a different game for UNC. It might be motivated a little less by we want to end NC State's season without a bowl and more to we want to send our guy, the guy that recruited us, the guy that turned us into the football players we are, out with a victory. Mike in Raleigh has some thoughts on it. He's on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, open for your reactions to Mack Brown's firing. 919-860-5326. Mike, thank you for calling in. How do you react to Mack Brown being on the way out?
Well, I'll relate it to myself a little bit. About 5 or 6 years ago, I looked in the mirror and I realized I was getting old. And I think Mack Brown might have a little problem relating to younger guys. I still feel real young and I feel like I think young, but when I look in the mirror, I realize I'm not. And I've seen how you get people in their 20s and 30s interact with me, and I think that probably might have something to do just with all the enthusiasm that could be generated over there. And it's not just with players. The other thing, and probably more importantly, as an NC State fan, I'm sorry to see him go.
Okay, so that was two very different points that I'm gonna ask you to kind of reconcile. The first half of your call was he's an older guy, the maybe locker room, the relatability has passed him by, and then you pivoted hard and said you're sorry to see him go. Is that how are both of those things true? Has the game passed him by, or do you want to keep him around?
Well, I'm not a UNC fan.
Oh, sorry, I misheard that.
As an NC State fan, I'm sorry to see
I get you now. I was thinking maybe my brain just heard UNC fan. All right, I apologize for that confusion. I know fans don't love being that bit of a little turnover. Appreciate the call. Call back in anytime.
Thank you.
All right, that one, my brain didn't even let me hear NC State. I was just thinking about Mack Brown.
Yeah, when he said that, as an NC State fan, I hate to see him go. It's like, well, okay, I see what you're saying now. All right.
The age thing, like obviously I think guys can coach into the 70s, 80s, whatever you want, if you're always constantly adapting and staying up with everything that's going on currently, right? The things that had Mack Brown winning a national championship in 2006 aren't the things that are going to win an ACC championship in 2024. I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. This will be our last point before we have to hit a break. When we were at ACC kickoff, Dennis, you and I were there, and we talked to Mack Brown and Omarion Hampton back-to-back.
Yeah.
And the question I asked Mack Brown, kind of as a fun little, like, hey, this is media day, jokey joke thing, was, all right, last question for you is what should be my first question for Omarion Hampton? Because Omarion was standing over his shoulder waiting to put the microphone on, the headset. And he said, ask him about all the money he turned down to stay at UNC. He could have had 4 times as much money in NIL to go elsewhere, and he's still here. Ask him about that. And he didn't say it with, he said it much more charming and much more Southern drawl than I could ever pull off because that's Mack Brown. And at the time I was like, that's cool, right? He's highlighting that Omarion Hampton wants to be here. As the season went along, I kind of replayed that in my mind, and I went, I don't know if coaches that get the modern kind of atmosphere in college football are bragging about having 1/4 as much money as someone else had to pay their running back, right? The younger, the more in tune with NIL, the more in tune with current college football are not bragging about my players love to be here for the colors, for the school colors, for the alma mater. They love to sing the team fight song. They're bragging about, no, we're working to get our players their proper compensation, and we're going to pay top dollar because that recruits. And you may hate it, and I may hate it, and we all may hate when a 5-star says I'm going to the top bidder. But if you want a 5-star, you may have to be the top bidder. And I definitely wouldn't be bragging out there about, hey, we had 1/4 as much for our best player. It's just misreading the room a hint. 1 degree off can change everything. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Heister Automotive Group hotline will remain open kind of throughout the show. We'll spot check it to make sure you have your opportunities to react to Mack Brown's firing. Right now, though, Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Window Nation is bringing back its incredible Black Friday offer. 50% off all window styles. If you're like me, you may not know the names of your windows, right? I could walk around and go, that's one that you can look through there. That's a bigger one out the back of the house. That one's upstairs. But there's so much more that goes into it. Bays, bows, double hung, sliders, single hung, picture windows, and more. I couldn't even list them all. I don't have enough time. But the good news is Window Nation, they're experts. They know the insulation. They know the installation. They know the materials. They know what fits best, what looks best in your house, and they can advise you in a free in-home estimate and presentation and consultation right now. And there's a sweet Black Friday deal going on right now. 50% off all windows. That's for includes 5 full years of no interest payments. And through the end of the month, you'll receive an additional 10% discount. So that's the 50% plus an additional 10% for Black Friday. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION and learn a whole bunch about windows. I did. That's 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule. That's windownation.com. Last night or the last 24 hours, we'll say, was not just surprising for the Mack Brown news. It was surprising in 100 different ways, one of which being the Canes' comeback. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
Come on, Coach. I know it's tough. Just squeezed out that. Yeah, he's doing it for us. He is the giant, non-disposable straw that is stirring the drink because you do not want Marty Natchez melting down like a cardboard straw in a milkshake.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Drive-through car washes are quick, but a mobile detailer gets to the nitty-gritty. Autobell Car Wash is the sweet spot between both. We quickly clean your car from the inside out to save you time. Get the app at autobell.com.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Did you know that Bailey's has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for our designer jewelry, fine diamonds, and luxury watches, but we also have a vast selection of beautiful jewelry and gifts under $500. You can make a piece of our Bailey's collection yours this Christmas. Add a little sparkle with the popular Icon Collection Tiny Diamond Hoops in either white, rose, or yellow gold for $395. For only $250, check out our beautiful Sterling Collection Diamonds by the Yard bracelet. Or select one of our Bailey's perfect layering necklaces. For $325, our Goldmark Station necklace, or for only $275, our Icon Puffed Heart pendant. We're celebrating over 75 years of making holiday gifting easy. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, and Greenville to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tab. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Gostisbehere fakes the shot. You'll get it back for Natchez. Natchez looking. It's a flex off the skate. The score! Marty Natchez making his own look. And on the power play, the Canes get the bounce. It's 5-4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The past 48 hours have a theme. Maybe not even 48. The past 24 hours have a theme. As soon as you think you know what's happening, you have no idea. Oh, you think because yesterday Mack Brown said he expects to be the coach moving forward for UNC that there's not big change coming? You have no idea. Oh, did the Chargers take a 2-score lead on the Ravens and it's like, uh-oh, Jim Harbaugh's got the upper hand on John Hart? You have no idea. Even after the Canes game. Oh, did UNC fall behind by $1 billion to Dayton in the first round of the Maui Invitational? You have no idea. And maybe none more so than the Canes game. Canes fell down 3-1 second period. End of the second period. They're down 3-1. And it felt like you knew what was happening. All right, the Canes goalies are banged up. All right, they have a nice little tough stretch of games here on the schedule with the Stars and with the Rangers and back-to-back with the Panthers. And there's not enough kind of juice for them to get rolling in this one.
Couldn't catch a break for the first 40 minutes.
Couldn't catch a break. Couldn't get a single power play called. There was just so much kind of, we've seen this game before. I know how it's going to go. They're not waking up, and every team has one. It's a get out of bed day, and it's just a bad day, and it happens. You have no idea what's going to happen because all that happens from that point forward is a 5-goal third. And everybody got in on it. Oh, you get a goal. Burns, for the first time this season, gets a goal, and it's the game tire.
Let's go.
Gostisbehere gets a goal on the power play. That's what he does this year. Martin Natchez gets a goal on the power play. He's now tied atop the league in points with a little guy you may have heard of, Nathan McKinnon, who, by the way, has played one more game than Martin Necas.
Yeah, take that.
Svet gets the empty netter. Aho has a 4-point day. Jarvis is unreal. And it felt like the Canes were looking at you going, I bet you thought we weren't going to have a good day, huh? It's a great showing, once again, for how the Canes stay the course and don't panic in the face of adversity. And I know that I might make a mountain out of a molehill occasionally. Being down 3-1 to Dallas and winning that game, that's not a mountain out of a molehill. That's a mountain out of a mountain. Dallas doesn't give up a ton of goals already. And they had a commanding lead. There are occasionally times where I feel like I know what I'm talking about. One of which, hey, winner, chicken dinner, I called Jarvis to be the first goal scorer for the Canes.
Let's go. A shorty.
A shorty.
Let's go.
I didn't have the intestinal fortitude to call for the shorty. But I did say Jarvis, and I did say yesterday that I thought they needed a tension breaker. They needed somebody to boost them. When they need a personality boost, they look towards Jarvis, and him coming back from injury could be something that raised their spirits and something that raised their level of play. Rod Brindamore, after the game, talked about how big Seth Jarvis was in that comeback in his return.
It's huge, right? Like, you're not really sure how the guy's going to respond. He didn't even practice. I mean, he's practiced on his own, but not, you don't know what he's going to bring. And obviously, he was, I thought, the best player on the ice. Even early. So he's a special player. We've known that, and to do it, like you said, after sitting out for a couple of weeks or whatever, that says a lot about him.
To be clear, Sebastian Aho had a 4-point night, and Rod Brindamore said post-game that Seth Jarvis was the best player on the ice in his first game back after a lengthy absence with an injury. That's not small praise. That's not small praise at all. That's big praise. Aho reminded everyone what he is as an all-around player. I think we all should officially put to rest the hey, what's going on with Sebastian Aho? The last 5 games, he has answered that question with an emphatic Finnish accent. I'm fine.
Yeah, he's scored 4 goals in the last 6 games. And he had back-to-back multi-point games, everything. Yeah, he's been turning it on.
He's on pace now with 4 points last night. A little over 1.1 points per game, which puts him on a 90-goal pace. He's on pace for a career high in points.
Yeah.
After slow start, not scoring goals, not scoring even strength for like 17, 18 games. Mm-hmm. Now through, 21?
Yeah.
Through 21, he's on pace for a career high in points.
It's interesting, or I think it's a fun note last night that he factored in on a shorthanded goal, a even strength goal, and a power play goal.
He's a little all-around player, is what you're saying.
All over the place.
A little all-around player. Sebastian Aho spoke to the media about if it feels like he's finding his game over the last few.
It's been better as of late. Obviously, I feel like we've been I've been playing a little bit better hockey, and obviously you get on the score sheet, you get a little confidence there, but and all that. But yeah, I think there's another level still coming.
There's another level. I agree, and I said this to Dennis off air. I watch Aho, and when he's cooking like that, I see a 100-plus, 103-point score. He's on pace for 90. I do think there's another level, and I hope he gets there. Necas, I don't know if there's another level from what he's doing. His hot streak at this point, it's unstoppable, right? The game winner, what do you even – multiple ricochets off a skate, and it just finds the net. And, there you go. Martin Necas, another goal. He's darn near unstoppable when he has to earn every goal and doesn't have the luck break in his way. But when he does have the luck break in his way, watch the heck out. There's a lot of things to like there. And I say it quite often, they had their goalies back, right? If somebody's going to give up some goals early to mount that comeback, you can learn lessons, you can give up the goals, and you can still lock in and find a way to have that win take place. Now, for lack of a better term, do it again tomorrow against the Rangers. You know, that's the beauty and the curse of an 82-game season is no matter how good or bad your last game was, forget about it. We got another one. And after that one, I'm sure you wanted to celebrate and let that adrenaline kind of, power you forward. But also, Rangers Wednesday is no joke.
Dallas is one of the best teams in the league.
For sure.
Like, legit one of the best teams in the league. That's not just,
when you fall behind 3-1 to Dallas, you're not supposed to win that game.
Yeah, and talking to the guys in the locker room after the game, Aho said it, Seth Jarvis said it, and even Rob Brindamore said it. He's like, give kudos to Dallas. They controlled the first 40 minutes of the game, and they took advantage of opportunities. I remember when it was 2-1 in the second period, Jackson Blake has a cleanly beats Jake Ottinger, but hits the post, comes right back out. Before you know it, Dallas goes down the other way and scores. It's like, wait a second, we're supposed to be tied 2-2, not down 3-1. Dallas did a phenomenal job yesterday in the first two periods, but, man, the way Carolina responded was just awesome.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I think it says something about this team. They've got the right outlook. They've got
100%.
a really, really good mindset. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the thesis statement coming up next, and it does have to do with the question that maybe is too soon to ask, but you have to ask it for UNC football. Who's the next coach now that Mack Brown's on his way out? Stick around.
Has Mother Nature taken a toll on your home? Whether it's storm damage, wear and tear, or just the passage of time, Baker Home Exteriors is Raleigh's trusted expert for all your home repair needs. From roofs, gutters, and siding, to doors, windows, and decks, we have the experience to restore your home. But we don't just fix problems, we improve your home's resilience and aesthetics, giving you peace of mind and pride in your property. Visit BakerRoofing.com to schedule your repair service today.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Fox & Bailey Watch Shop. This Christmas, give a gift that stands the test of time. At Fox & Bailey, we offer an exquisite collection of the finest timepieces and distinct gifts, perfect for that special someone on your list. Whether it's a sleek and modern design or a timeless classic, our expert team will help you find the perfect watch to fit any style. Because at Fox & Bailey, we know a watch is more than just a gift. It's a lasting memory. We proudly carry some of the world's most distinguished watch brands, including Omega, Blancpain, Glashütte Original, Tissot, Nomos, Hamilton, and Norqain. Not to mention that we have the largest collection of certified pre-owned and vintage Rolex watches in North Carolina. Make this holiday unforgettable with a watch or a unique gift from Fox & Bailey, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry Village District location in Raleigh.
Beat the Black Friday rush during Black Friday Build-Up at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, get an extra 10% off when you buy a major appliance from Whirlpool, like the new Smart Range with air cooking and a wipe clean coating. Shop these deals in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid 11/6 through 12/4. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been sighted across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holiday-ride.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze. If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, everybody, subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. We did go live with immediate reactions to the Mack Brown firing earlier today. It was myself, it was Adam Gold, it was Paul Ihander. We had Bren Rener on the show, a conversation you'll hear in a little bit, former UNC quarterback. So that is all available on our YouTube page, 99.9 The Fan, and there's constantly updated content going up there. One thing I did also want to say about Sebastian Aho, in addition to the 4-point game yesterday, I had it in my notes, didn't say it, and it's something I don't want to overlook.
Go on.
15 face-off wins out of 18 opportunities.
Yeah, he was crushed it yesterday.
That is just getting your team extra possessions. That is just another element. We talked about the all-around game. It was all there. It was all working for Aho once the Canes kind of got off the schneid or whatever you want to call it for the first little bit there. Thesis statement time. Let's go ahead and talk about Mack Brown. My thesis for today that I will defend is that the upcoming UNC football head coaching hire, to fill the vacancy left by, as we learned earlier today, Mack Brown being fired, is the most important coaching hire in the University of North Carolina athletics history. Now, I'm talking, let me just set the stage here. I'm not talking about eventually. I'm not talking about, obviously hiring Dean Smith proved to be wildly important, but I'm talking about as you are making the hire, knowing how important it is to put the right guy in that seat. And I would say more so than any basketball hire. And part of that is just because UNC basketball, I do believe, is a little inevitable. Like, you can put the wrong hire in that chair for 3-4 years, try again, and it's still North Carolina basketball.
Matt Doherty.
Yeah. Yep. Football, this particular football hire, though, is wildly, wildly important. It's important to the entire athletic department, more so than it's ever been before. Football in the state of college athletics is driving so much. Your basketball program, when you're talking about conference realignment, media deals, everything else, it's a nice add-on. Oh, and they have very, very good basketball. But football drives everything. It's just the way it is. I don't make the rules, but I can observe the rules. And with football going into a very, very uncertain time over the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years, it is wildly important that UNC nails this hire. UNC is going to be asking for a lot. Bubba Cunningham, the athletic director, put out what I'm calling his manifesto, but it's a article that he wrote on GoHeels.com, straight from the athletic director's computer, like he wrote it. It's not him being quoted from an interview. It was his work. And it was illustrating all the ways that UNC was going to be looking for cash. There may be a talents fee attached to ticket prices that'll make the tickets more expensive to those that want to attend UNC games in order to take a portion of that and put it towards the revenue sharing for the players. There's going to be perhaps a different distribution of funds where the sports that make money see a larger part of the budget, while the sports that don't have to get by with as much as they can give, which probably won't be as much. Things like advertisements, advertising logos and things on jerseys. He made it very clear UNC is going to have to raise some money. They're going to have to be hand out in a lot of situations.
Well, you can actually have advertising on fields now, too.
On fields. We're seeing NC State talking about renaming Carter Finley Stadium with some kind of an advertising kick. What do you think advertisers will pay more for? A defending ACC champion coming off an 11-win season, or a, hey, at least they were bowl eligible and won 6 games? Or even worse, they didn't even make it to a bowl. They won 4 games. UNC is going – what fans? Hey, are you more willing to pay a talent fee on top of the traditional ticket price to see a team that is high-flying, entertaining, putting players in the NFL, winning games, making it to the ACC championship game, allowing you to have bragging rights with your friends who root for other teams? Or are you willing to pay more for that? I would argue most people, yes. UNC is going to be asking for a lot, and you better be good when you ask for that. Not to mention if in the next 5-10 years there's this rumored super conference that breaks off, you need to be picked. You need to make sure you are one of those draft picks. And if there's a 50, 60, 70 team super conference, I think UNC's picked every time. If there's a 30 team super conference focused on football, maybe. In 10 years, I believe there is going to be a distinct line drawn, and there will be the haves and the have-nots. There will be the teams that are exceptionally funded, the teams that media partners want to spend millions, if not billions of dollars to have on their networks, their streaming services. And then there will be the have-nots. Still run a program, still fill a stadium. Their quarterback's making $400,000. When the haves quarterbacks are making $2 million. And it's very difficult to recruit when they're offering $2 million and you're offering $400,000. So in the meantime, before those changes fully take place, in the transition period, it is wildly important to be good and to have buzz around your program. And to have advertisers want to work with your program, and to have transfer portal guys want to play for your program. To keep up with your competitors. To keep up with the schools that you want to be peers with. And all of that, I would argue, starts with the coach. Starts with the head coach. I played college football. I can tell you this. Nobody impacts your life when you are a college football player, maybe outside of like your parents, than the head coach. They decide when you're waking up. They decide what nights you're going to sleep early. They decide how much practice time you have, how much nutrition advice you're getting, how much weight you gain or lose, because if you go above or below a target weight, they'll be making sure you get within that target weight. Like, they control everything. So then the question becomes, all right, now we've established the stakes. Now we know we have to win this hire, or else we can't predict or control the success of the program moving forward and the status of the program nationally. Who are you looking for? I hope they've cast a wide net in a. And this is Bubba Cunningham, this is everyone in that inner circle. They've cast a wide net in their brain, and they've already zeroed in on a handful of names that they're out there likely contacting already, because this news has been public for now like 7 hours. John Sumrall at Tulane, which would actually kind of, in a weird way, be honoring Mack Brown on the way out, because first time they hired Mack Brown, they brought him over from Tulane.
That's right. So
it's like, hey, I know we just fired you, but we like the way you worked out so well. We're going to go right back to the well that we found you. Garrett Riley, Clemson offensive coordinator, I think he could play into the cool factor of UNC, get that offense flying around. Barry Odom, who's the head coach at UNLV, has been mentioned. These are just like, can you get a call with Shane Beamer, South Carolina? I'm a big fan of Shane Beamer. Can you get him on the line in a, hey, if anyone tells you, or if you tell anyone that I took this call, I'll deny it to my deathbed style call, just to see if there is something there. I know he's getting SEC money, but he's an ACC guy. His dad, Virginia Tech, might be a Big East guy, but hey.
That's why coaches have agents.
Arthur Smith, Steelers OC, former Falcons head coach. Maybe doesn't have the best like street cred in the world right now for his but Steelers are, 8-2, 9-2, something like that? 8-3? And he is a UNC grad and a former graduate assistant at UNC.
Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson played at UNC, and he's from Asheville.
I'd make a call, and I would expect to be hung up on. I think he's going to have his pick of NFL head coaching jobs. Jeff Saturday, UNC, former offensive lineman, center, went on to a long and prosperous Pro Bowl multiple times over career in the NFL, has a short stint, cup of coffee as the head coach of the Colts a couple years ago. That's kind of going the offensive line UNC version of Deion Sanders, right? Getting the former player who brings some name buzz, maybe not the coaching resume, but can hire good assistants and fundraise like crazy. All I know is this: you better get it right. All I know is this: more importantly, if you get it wrong, the future of your program becomes in jeopardy.
I think this hire needs to make sure that there isn't the apathy from UNC fans towards football like we saw this season.
Buzz. That's kind of what I call buzz. Attention, whatever you want to. Yeah.
Because I remember going right back to the first home game. They played UNC Charlotte. I know it's not the biggest name, but when you're playing Charlotte at home and it was a noon kickoff, beautiful day, you're 1-0 because you just beaten Minnesota. And then I remember being at that game covering, I went, this place is maybe 60% full. And there was, I felt like there was no buzz going into the game. Like, it's a home opener for a season.
Home opener for a season, and you had just beaten a Big Ten team on the road. Wasn't the prettiest win in the world, but it's a win over Minnesota on the road. 1917 overcame weather and a starting quarterback injury.
Yeah, and it's not like you had a basketball game that you had to compete with or anything like that. Like, it was your day. It was a Saturday. It was a beautiful day. And the level of, I was like, wow, the level of apathy already from Carolina fans. I was like, red flag.
This is interesting. Pat Welter, WRAL, sports reporter, which is under our Capital Broadcasting Company kind of umbrella, just to put it on Front Street. He's tweeted this out as of a little less than an hour ago. According to a source, there is support from people at UNC to promote tight ends coach Freddie Kitchens to head coach, but it's not believed he'll be strongly considered. Steelers OC and former UNC guard Arthur Smith is a name being rumored. This is the part that I think is interesting. Pat follows up that tweet with, a source told me they believe the decision has already been made on who the next football coach at UNC will be, and it could be announced as soon as Sunday. Pat Welter, again, WRAL reporting, there is growing sentiment among major donors, Rams Club, and the Board of Trustees that the head coach isn't the problem at UNC. They were slow to adjust to in the NIL era and won't compete for 10 wins in a playoff spot unless other changes are made in the athletic program. Now, that's the reporting by Pat Welter. I will quickly just read between the lines a little bit. To me, that means it's somebody coming from a program that has done better with the NIL that can come in and say, this is how we did it. This is a position we need to create. This is a event that we threw, whatever it is, because we got to raise some cash. Either way, this UNC football hire, which may already be decided behind closed doors, is the most important coaching hire in UNC athletics history. Thesis, I believe, defended. Yesterday, this is where recording interviews a day early can sometimes bite you. But yesterday I talked with Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, about largely the NC State-UNC game and the rivalry and the emotions for a player going into that game. Obviously, since we recorded it yesterday, this was before we knew it would be Mack Brown's final time coaching in the rivalry. So just keep that in mind as you hear the conversation coming up next between myself and Mike Glennon from yesterday. Enjoy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I'm getting out of the studio early for a little family time this Thanksgiving week, so we were bumping up our conversation with Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback, because we can't go this week without talking to Mike. It is NC State-UNC week, and the stakes are high. Not the stakes that state was hoping for, but they are high nonetheless because NC State has to win in order to be bowl eligible following their loss last week. After UNC gets smoked by Boston College, it appears gettable. It appears like a winnable game. We'll start with just the emotions of it. This season has to have been a roller coaster for State. As somebody that's been in the rivalry, what does this week do for your emotions? Does it heighten them? Do you lock in? Do you not talk to your friends? Like what does the State-UNC rivalry mean for the players?
I was always in the I was always focused, but I think there is a little bit extra excitement.
You don't have to coach speak with us. You can say, I don't say, oh, every game is the same.
I don't say every game's
a big game.
I hate I'm not going to watch more film all of a sudden because you're playing Carolina. You should be doing that every week. But yes, there's more excitement. There's more emotion. There's more walking around the campus. It just feels like there's a little bit probably different energy. And NC State recently has kind of had UNC's number. Mack Brown seems to find a way to light a fire under these guys to take this, rather than talk about the rivalry, actually take it serious. Dave Doeren does his best work against Carolina and having that soundbite, whether it's before the game, after the game, or whatever, that fan base rallies around, the players rally around. And it's exciting. And like you said, there's a lot on the line for particularly NC State needing to win to get to a bowl.
The kind of cliche about Dave Doeren, and we've talked about this, is whatever happens during the year, you beat UNC, you give the soundbite you're talking about, Salty Dave becomes a thing, and then the fan base jumps back behind him because, you made Mack Brown unhappy. Like, everybody jumps behind you because you pulled that off. How important is it for this offseason when it comes to, we were just talking off air, you got to go ask for money again to support these collectives. You have to ask for, season ticket renewals, and you have to ask for all of these things that are more important now. From just that perspective, as an alumni, how important is it to beat UNC?
I would probably argue from the collective standpoint, from the fan standpoint, it's more important to beat Carolina for those reasons than it is to go to a bowl game. Because NC State last year, they beat Carolina, Drake May, all this stuff. Dave Doeren right after the game. We need, what was it, 5,000
fans to give $1,000 to their collective.
Then we're at 5 million, and fans got behind it. It was like, we beat Carolina again. We finished the year 9-3, 10 wins is on the table. I want to go give my money.
5-game win streak. Brent Armstrong's playing like a grown bleep man. Like, it was a moment.
And now it's like fans are probably like, I just gave all that money last year and we're 5-6. Why did I give that money? And they need something to want to give to again. And there is a lot of pride in this, being able to walk around for the year knowing that you beat Carolina. And so I think that's extremely important. Obviously, the bowl eligibility plays a role in that, but really just for the funding standpoint, from the fans' excitement standpoint, I think that's why this game is even more important.
Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, joining us here in studio on The Drive. You brought up Drake May. Drake May made some comments, some, I would say, tired jokes in the rivalry, UNC-NC State last year, and it became, he apologized, but, I mean, of course he apologized. I don't think anyone was accusing him of really meaning it. Do you need stuff like that? Like this year, the stakes, Mack Brown, I'm looking at a tweet right now from Brian Murphy, WRAL investigative reporter. UNC coach Mack Brown asked if his intention is to return next season. He said yes, but also said he hasn't spoken with the athletic director about it, which they'll do after the season. There's bowl eligibility on the line for NC State. There's perhaps the future of a coaching staff somewhat on the line for UNC, but there hasn't quite been at least not yet, the zinging thrown across the bow. Should someone get it rolling and get this entertainment track started?
Well, maybe, Mack Brown's telling him not to do that, because I just think that NC State players play well until they think they're better than us. And I think that doesn't sit well within NC State players. Like, you're not better than us. Like, you didn't get into school because of your academics. You got into school because you could throw a football. So I just don't – I think that doesn't sit well with the fan base. It doesn't sit well with the players that – I'm sure a lot of the guys on the NC State roster, they had offers from Carolina. It's not like they, UNC didn't want them. They turned down Carolina too, and it's like, you're no better than me, and we'll prove it again this year just like we did the previous 2 years.
The interesting part about this year's NC State-UNC game is I do think NC State has hung their hat on UNC gets the 4 stars and maybe a 5-star or 2. We get the 3 stars. And then we play better, we play harder, we develop more, we work harder in the weight room, and we get the win. This year, there's like the last offseason was won by NC State. If we're just looking at the stars next to recruiting rankings, particularly the transfers, does that take away from that what you're talking about? Like, they think they're better than us? It's like, well, actually, you were a 5-star and you were a 2-year starter at Notre Dame and you were an Oklahoma running back, and it's like, do you really have the inferiority complex that State used to have?
I think that even within the transfers coming in, they quickly learn when they step on campus what this rivalry means to the university, to the fan base, to this, Raleigh, the Triangle area. And whether they could have gone to Carolina or not, I think they are motivated to win. And I'm sure Dave Doran has done a great job educating them on the history of it, just the back and forth, and the players that are from North Carolina clearly know.
They get it, yeah.
But the players that aren't from North Carolina, they figure it out pretty quickly as well.
All right, let's do the football thing outside of the social emotional thing for a second here. I love if-then statements, so I'm gonna give you one. If blank happens, then NC State beats UNC this week. What's I mean, it's another way to say key to the game, but you can fill that in any way you want.
If NC State has one or less turnovers, they win the game.
There you go. Turnovers. It's the most obvious thing. But I would say this, and we haven't really talked about it, but we did extensively talk about it on the Pack Therapy podcast. So everybody go check that out wherever podcasts can be found. 3 turnovers by C.J. Bailey this past week against Georgia Tech. And he kind of fought through it. He appears to be one of the quarterbacks that does have I think you were much better at this than I was. That kind of like, hey, what happened. Let's move forward, which is a massive advantage for C.J. Bailey.
Yeah, look, the first interception wasn't on him. It was a fluke shovel pass. Never seen it in my life. May not ever see it again.
But you talking that way, it feels different than if I were to talk that way. You can genuinely go like, wasn't my fault. What a weird play that was. I would be going like, gosh, why did I flip that up? Why did my hand go out there? I should have had better awareness. Like, it is a different beast.
Yeah, and then the second interception was right before halftime. Third interception, defensive lineman kind of slightly drops back into coverage. I wouldn't put any of them completely on CJ and that they cost the game and he let down his team. But he does have a great mindset. I mean, after the game, I could almost see where it could bother people. He's just laughing after the game with talking to Georgia Tech players and things like that, where some people think, well, this guy's not taking it serious. And look, I just think that's his personality, that he doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He's got a positive mindset rather than worrying about the negative. He's going to just take from the positive, and different people minds and motivations work differently, and clearly it works for him. So I think he does have the right mind that even if they get down early in this game, he's proven in the Cal game and this throughout the whole season that he's going to call his way back, and just like he did against Georgia Tech.
Last one for you, and we could talk State UNC all day, but I think people know what is that game because we're here in this part of the country. We got to get one question in about Bryce. Took Patrick Mahomes all the way down to the wire. Have you seen somebody's confidence in the league change like it has for him? Those first 2 games, I thought his confidence was permanently broken. Now he's out there throwing for 100 yards in the first quarter against the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions and kind of laughing and smiling about it. I've never seen anything like it. Have you?
He played very well, and people say there's no moral victories. To me, that was a moral victory.
There's no moral victories. That one's like it's a good challenge for my theory.
There's no way Dave Canales didn't go to bed last night not feeling good about how that game went. Like,
for the first time in the post game, he named Bryce the starter the next week.
You've been the laughing stock of the NFL for the past season and a half, and you go toe to toe and almost knock down the back-to-back Super Bowl champs, and they've only lost once this year. Like, that was absolutely a moral victory for everyone in that locker room.
Mahomes had to be Mahomes to beat you. Like, there's something to be said for that. Like, when you play the Bulls, if you lose and Michael Jordan's in 96, you lose and Michael Jordan scores 20, he didn't even feel like he needed to get going for you. If he scores 45, it's like, oh, he brought his A game. That's kind of respect. You needed Mahomes to do the Mahomes thing on the fourth down drive, which there's something to be said for that. Mike, appreciate you as always. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk again next week.
Thanks, Tim.
Once again, that is Mike Glennon, former NC State quarterback, talking about the upcoming NC State-UNC rivalry game. And one more caveat there. That was recorded prior to the news that Mack Brown has been notified, and he has since passed it along to the team that he is fired and will not be the head coach moving forward for UNC. Mack Brown will be coaching against NC State, however, but that's why that wasn't a bigger part of that conversation, is because it was recorded ahead of that news. In similar fashion, we will have Wolfpack Weekly for State fans out there looking for more info, more insight into the Wolfpack heading into the big rivalry game. We'll have Wolfpack Weekly airing here at 6 o'clock on 99.9 The Fan, immediately following this show. But I believe that was also recorded pre-Mack Brown news.
Yes, so normally that's taped on Monday. Normally we have it Monday at 7 o'clock, but because we had Canes last night, okay, we're going to air it at 6 o'clock today, so...
Which normally it's not a huge deal. There's not a lot of college football news happening between Monday evening and Tuesday evening, but of course today there will be. So don't expect comments on the Mack Brown situation, the firing, but expect insight into NC State going into that game, which you could argue doesn't change anything for NC State anyway, right? Same players, same scheme, same coordinators, same head coach for the rivalry game this weekend. So a lot of state insight between that conversation with Mike and the upcoming Wolfpack Weekly. We'll take a break right now. When we come back, football at 4 with a simple question. What does Bryce have for an encore? Stick around.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk. Panthers Playbook. The Paw Print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
The snap. It's Chuba plowing forward. Conversion good. We're tied at 27 with 1:46 to go.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Hey friends, Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. This Thanksgiving, we are serving up epic football moments with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel app serves up all the ingredients you need to place live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. And when you win, you get paid instantly. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul and join today and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/Paul, Paul with a capital P. Make this Thanksgiving extra special with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Give the gift of legendary craftsmanship this holiday season with an Omega timepiece. From the iconic Speedmaster that accompanied astronauts to the moon, to the Seamaster loved by the world's most famous spy, Omega watches capture the spirit of adventure and precision. At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, find a timepiece that matches your story. Elevate your holiday with an Omega timepiece from Bailey's and make this season unforgettable. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
Fruitcake! You shouldn't have. Wow, a candle.
Spread joy, not junk, with the Autobell Car Wash Holiday Sale. Visit Autobell to buy one Super Poly Process Wash and get one 40% off.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A little wet this morning, but looking at a lot of sunshine this afternoon. 69 for the afternoon high. 37 tonight, so turning colder. We'll see clear skies behind today's front. And tomorrow's comfortable. We'll see a high of 63 with partly cloudy skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock, check of your money. Dow Jones up 112 points today to 44,849. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There's a very simple question for Bryce Young. What else you got? What else you got? What can you do to show us that you're building? The Chiefs game was a very, very, very nice step in the right direction. The confidence, the way you came out in the first half, slinging it, first quarter slinging it, the drive that ended up tying the game, albeit with a little too much time on the clock. There's a lot to like. But how much? This is a question that I am absolutely certain would be frustrating in just about any other profession. How much of last week's success is dependent on following it up with solid play this week and beyond? Think about it this way. I'm pick another industry, right? Imagine if I'm going to try to pick just random, not implying anything about any industry. Let's talk about like plumbing. You're a plumber. Imagine if you did a great job. You had to fix. I don't know any plumbing terms. Fix pipes. You had to fix pipes in a house, and it was a bad situation. And you went in there and you smoked it, right? I'm talking toilets flush like they were brand new. I'm talking no leaks anywhere. I'm talking it's all to code perfect. And you did so quickly. You did so cost efficiently. Imagine if you can go to the next job and at some other house, if you make a mistake over there, suddenly everyone's going to start going, that house previous that you did last week, not that good. We lied. I didn't think it was that good. Yeah, I mean, it works and you did a good job, but I don't like what you did there. You're not as good a plumber as you were last week. That's what happens in football. You go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs that has a fistful of Super Bowl rings. You went toe-to-toe with them as a quarterback who a month ago, 2 months ago, people had given up on. And you fought back even. Now you have this upcoming week against Tampa. If you stink, no one's going to go like, all right, well, the last 2 weeks he's 50-50. He had a good week and a bad week. It's going to be, I knew it. He was no good. That's why we were worried about it. The Chiefs game, it really wasn't even him. It really wasn't even him.
Look at that O-line.
It was the offense. It was Thielen. It was there was a miscommunication on the deep ball. It's like, okay, really, we're retroactively changing it. What everybody said about that game. That's how it is in the NFL. Look at Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Remember Derek Carr's first 2 weeks? One of them was against Carolina. And then Dallas. He was an MVP candidate. I said it. I was like, this guy might be the MVP leader. No one's going back and saying, like, that guy was really good those first 2 weeks. They're saying he's had a bad season. New Orleans is in trouble.
That's funny. Dennis Allen, their head coach. Wow, look at this dude. Turn it around. Canned.
Yep. Sam Darnold, same way. Sam Darnold's even still finding a way in most respects to win games for Minnesota, but because he's not doing it as aesthetically pleasing as he was doing it at the beginning of the year, and because Justin Jefferson isn't putting up 120 yards plus a game, people are looking around going, up, Darnold back into a pumpkin. Some things never change. There is a long runway. And I had to remind someone about this recently. We were having a kind of off-the-cuff conversation about the NFL draft, and somebody just went, how many teams really need a quarterback? Giants need one, Raiders need one, and then they just said, Panthers will probably stick with Bryce for at least another year. And my response wasn't, like, you're wrong. My response was, there's still a long runway for him to firm up his grasp on that job or loosen that grip up and let it slip through his fingers. I was doing this same exact thing in reverse when the world gave up on Bryce. I was going, you should still play Bryce. Why? Because there might be a 1% chance that there's a something you want to build off of there. And there was a 0% chance in my mind that Andy Dalton had something you wanted to build off of. By no disrespect to Andy, just an age thing. So if there's a 1%, if there's a 3% chance you play Bryce Young, now I feel like I'm doing the opposite. Now I'm going, well, there's a chance that these improvements by Bryce, he's been looking better in the last few games. There's a chance that this is just a hot streak. There's a chance that, defenses have been underwhelming or underlooking him, kind of overlooking him, I guess would be the way to put it. And they haven't been giving him the fastball treatment because they didn't think they had to, focusing on other things. I just read a long article on ESPN.com, and it's, I think, behind a paywall, so if you subscribe, you can read it. If not, I'll give you the gist. The headline is basically, what's going on with C.J. Stroud? Because C.J. Stroud was so good as a rookie and not as good statistically this season, even though, Texans are still a good team. And do you know what one of the quotes, and I should have written it down for you. One of the quotes basically said, well, defenses aren't treating him like a rookie anymore. They're treating him like an elite quarterback. Which means last year there was a lot of one high safety. There was a lot of let's stop the run. And then Stroud was beating those less than respectful pass coverages. This year, a lot of too high safety. That's why maybe Mixon is having such a big year. A lot of too high safety. A lot of, hey, we're going to make it so C.J. Stroud doesn't beat us, and he's being tempted into more interceptions. How does Bryce Young respond if/when defenses start respecting the pass a little bit more for Carolina, which I don't anticipate happening anytime soon? Because the run game is still their bread and butter, and Chuba Hubbard, and as that offensive line, and as Jonathan Brooks gets healthy, there's still 700 questions that have to be answered, and 700 might be a low estimate. 700 questions that still need to be answered about Bryce Young before you go anointing him the starter next year. I think you anoint him the starter the rest of this season in search of answers for those 700 questions, but beyond that still needs to be earned, and that, I don't want to say starts, that continues against Tampa Bay this weekend. That continues against a divisional foe that you're going to see 2 times in the last little part of your schedule here, which is a challenge in and of itself. It is how do you improve from one to the other? How do you win the chess match from one to the other? It is if Baker Mayfield, who is a one-time Carolina Panthers quarterback, finds Mike Evans early, do you respond the same way to them that you did when the Chiefs got a quick touchdown? Are you a good quarterback? Is a question that has to be answered often. And if you answer it in the positive, let's say 15 plus times, then maybe you earn the right to answer it negative once or twice. Bryce Young's not there. If Bryce Young has a bad day, this is actually a good question for fans. How many good days does a quarterback have to have before a bad day doesn't send you screaming? Because Patrick Mahomes, if he has a 3-interception, no touchdown day, Chiefs fans are going to be like, that was weird. And then they're going to go about eating their barbecue that people will argue doesn't taste as good as it does here in North Carolina. If Joe Burrow has a 97-yard passing day, doesn't even crack triple digits, Bengals fans are going to go, that's unusual of Joe. Who do we play next week? If Bryce Young has one of those days, Panthers fans are going to be running around like chicken with their heads cut off, screaming the sky is falling and talking about, I knew he was no good. How many good days does he have to put in a row before he can have a bad day and you don't flip out? It's not as many as the 3, or I will call it like 2, with the first 2 wins being half good games, and then I think the Chiefs game was a straight-up full good game for Bryce Young. So two good games in the last 3 games, that's not enough.
Yeah, you can't do like you had last year when you played Green Bay right around Christmas and you throw for 300-plus yards, team puts up 30 points. Granted, you lost by 3, but then the next 2 weeks you follow it up with goose eggs, literal shutouts. It's like, well, yeah, all the good graces you just earned in that Green Bay game, gone.
It was Christmas Eve, actually, 33-30 loss to Green Bay. Young, as you mentioned, 312 yards passing, which is the most of his young career thus far. He didn't throw he threw for 202 yards combined in the next 2 games, shutouts against the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
My point is, you have to answer, yes, that's my job every single week. I don't think realistically they should take it from you this year, but if you want to be the starter next year and possibly beyond, you need to answer positively way more weeks than you do answer negatively. If the question is, should that guy be our starter based on how he plays this week? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the ladder challenge to get to, and I'm just going to let everybody know you're not at the ladder challenge to hear my picks. You're at the ladder challenge to hear Dennis's picks because he's 8 times his money since we started this. But first, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook talking about picks. It's time to give thanks. It's time to spend time with friends and family. I have something else to be thankful for. Touchdowns. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, by the way, is the #1 place to bet touchdowns. So many ways to score 6. Fumble recovery, scoop and score. You could go the punt return, long touchdown pass, long touchdown run, short touchdown pass, goal line plunge, maybe a tush push. So many different ways to score 6. We don't care how they do it. We just want to bet on them. DraftKings heard us, and they're delivering, and touchdowns, they're on sale all weekend. And on top of that, if you're a new customer to DraftKings, you should get ready to do a touchdown dance of your own, because if you bet $5, you can get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-785-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. We'll take a break. When we come back. Ladder challenge. Can Dennis keep it going? One more time to make it to the end of the month. Copper drop and a conversation with Bren Rener, former UNC quarterback, about the news that Mack Brown has been fired. All that coming up next. Stick around.
You've got the gobbler. We've got a Thanksgiving football feast for you. Chicago and Detroit at 1. The New York Giants and Dallas at 4:30. And Miami and Green Bay at 8:20.
Caught by Goff at the goal line. Near side. Touchdown Detroit. The wide receiver just threw a touchdown pass to the quarterback. Now we have seen it all.
Chow down all day long. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Military veterans and active duty service members. You could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
The official Eras Tour book coming to Target on November 29th, featuring over 500 photographs from the tour, including never-before-seen performance and behind-the-scenes images. And for the first time, the Tortured Poets Department, the Anthology, with 35 tracks on CD and vinyl.
Only at Target.
It's Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Stack up the savings with deals all month. Get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to save on string lights, starting at just $2.98 for 100 count. Shop these deals in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Appliances valid 11/6 to 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items. String lights valid 11/21 through 12/4 while supplies last.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'll make this quick from my side because since we've started the ladder challenge here in November, Dennis is on an absolute heater. He has 8 times his money, and I lost last night again with Justin Herbert not throwing a touchdown pass. What a weirdo. So instead of using
what a weirdo, Justin Herbert.
Catch the ball, Lad McConkey, or Quentin Johnston. So no one cares about my pick. If I get this one right and you get this last one wrong, I win. Just an absolute backdoor cover. So I have Lions over 19.5 points for Chicago. Lions are a great offense. Doesn't have to be more complicated than that. And it is the Lions on Thanksgiving. Seems like they get an added little boost there. So if that wins, my $10 that I am restarting with becomes $11.17.
Look at you.
And that's how it stands right now. With that being said, if you're tailing picks, hopefully you're tailing Dennis. So here he is.
All right, so I'm actually up to $70.20.
Okay, so you've 7 times your money. I've been overhyping you.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I let you down there, Tim. But I am actually going to go back to my bread and butter of shots on goal. And who better than to go with the league leader in shots on goal in the NHL at over 4 a game? And David Pastrnak of the Boston Bruins, 2+ shots on goals, a -900, so that's $70.20 will win me $78 even.
So you're going for nearly 8 times your money. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
If that hits, by the way, that'll be the end of the month.
That would be.
Which means you would win, and you would have the right to cash out if you want.
I could.
You could keep it rolling. You could see how far it goes.
I really just want to see how far it goes.
I mean, $80 is $80. That's dinner for you and the lady. That's like
really
a night. Like $80 is $80. I don't want. The rules are at the end of each month.
Maybe that's a few meals for us. Let's go.
You can cash out at the end of the month, and you'd be the winner. But because you've been on such a heater, I mean that compound kind of rolling over winnings could lean into some large dollars if you stay hot. But every gambler knows half of it is all about figuring out when's the right time to bail.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a tale as old as Vegas, right? You have the big chip stacks. I should really go up to my room. You know what? I've tripled my money. Tonight's a good night. Let me see how long it goes. And then before you know it, you're sitting there clinging to your last chip. Like, well, here we go. If I were you, I might cash out like 40 of it.
Yeah.
Cash out 40, let the 40 roll, start halfway to where you ended up. See if you can't roll it through December. That's just me, though. You can figure that out. In the meantime, it's time for Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
Copper Drop, this is the part of the show where Dennis throws everything he can at me. We're talking ideas, predictions, observations, anything, and I tell him whether I'm copping or dropping. Dennis, take it away.
Copper Drop. After their 92-90 win last night over Dayton, UNC basketball wins the Maui Invitational. Cop or drop?
Ooh, what I will they win the Maui Invitational. Now, UConn lost, which opens up a kind of gap at the top. They do have to play Auburn tonight.
Top 5 team.
Which is a top 5 team in the country. You know what? I will pick them. Give me UNC. I'm copping.
Okay.
2 more wins tonight and tomorrow. I don't even know who the one would be against tomorrow. Maybe Memphis.
Yeah, a little exhibition rematch.
Here's why I'm comfortable taking UNC. UNC needed a bananas comeback last night to beat Dayton, which would say, like, probably not the best thing to do before you got to go play Auburn. Right? Tire yourself out mentally, emotionally, physically. You needed to use R.J. Davis going full nuclear, 30-point game, dominant second half. Seth Trimble got it going. And normally I would say, like, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. But Auburn also had a wildly tiring, exhausting, mentally, physically, emotionally game in an overtime game against number 5 in the country, Iowa State. So both will be a little bit of, like, whatever you have left in the tank, empty it out. And I like UNC to be able to do that. They seem to react very, very well to being pushed into the corner. And because of that, I think they're able to beat Auburn. And then, once you get to the championship, you turn to R.J. Davis and go, hey, do that thing you did in the second half against Dayton. And that's how that one goes.
All right, let's go to Duke basketball in action against Kansas tonight. Cop or drop? Duke basketball will have 4 players in double-digit scoring. Cop or drop?
4 players in double-digit scoring. Well, let's count them out, shall we? I believe Cooper Flagg will.
That's a lock.
I believe Con Knipple will.
Okay.
I'd probably put 2 or 3 threes there, and then, the bulk of the work is done to get to 10.
Yep.
Proctor? Probably Proctor. Just volume, and he tends to get good shots.
And I think he's also been the most consistent three-point shooter as well.
Yeah, he doesn't have the clunker quite yet.
Yep.
The issue is, where does another one come from? Do you trust somebody like Common Malawash, even with Hunter Dickinson out there, who's another big? Do you trust someone like Caleb Foster, who has that ability but he's just not getting volume like maybe he would if he didn't have so much talent around him? I'm going to go Malawash.
Okay. So you're copping that 4 get double digits?
I'm copping 4. Obviously, I don't have to pick. I just did that as an exercise.
That's fair.
I wouldn't be surprised if John Shire tells Malawash, hey, make Dickinson work on defense. Because Hunter Dickinson is a 7-foot, super-duper senior, been in college forever, preseason All-American, postseason All-American previous years. But Malawash is 7'2" and a better athlete. So I wonder if they're not like, hey, roll, throw some lobs, make Dickinson maybe foul trouble early would be a nice little way to go about it. So yeah, I'm gonna go. They get 4, the 3 I mentioned, and then either Foster or Malawash, with Malawash being my prediction.
Okay. Prediction tonight for Kansas Duke. Give me a prediction. It's in Vegas.
It is in Vegas. I think Duke wins. I think they're favored by 3.
Okay.
I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be a really, really good game. And it comes down to the last few possessions, and you see how much Duke learned from the Kentucky game. I think Duke wins.
Okay.
So, if you want to put a number on it, 81-79.
All right. Final one here on Cop or Drop before we get to Bren Rener.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Natchez, Carolina Hurricanes tied for the league lead in points with 35. Cop or drop, Martin Natchez finishes in the top 5 in points scored this year in the NHL. Cop or drop?
Top 5. I don't want to, but I think I have to drop that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to, but I think I have to drop that just because, top 5 is rare air. And if you look at some of the players that are not currently in the top 5, the Connor McDavids of the world, I I think they will, in a lot of ways, work their way up, and that means somebody has to come out. If you would have given me top 10, top 15, I think I might have been more inclined.
Yeah, that was too easy, though.
Top 5 it's just tough. And by the way, we had this conversation about Martin Necas, Dennis, when you were out. It doesn't feel flukish.
No, it's not.
The points he's getting feel intentional. It's there was a game, and I don't know why this is the example that always comes to mind, where Dimitri, I think it was against Washington. Dimitri Orlov had 2 goals, and they were both from impossible angles, and they were both like, Amazon, the statistics for that they always show on Thursday Night Football would definitely pop up and be like, this completion had a 1.2% chance of completing. They would definitely pop up and be like, these shots from Dimitri Orlov had a 3.7% of finding the back of the net. Martin Necas is, for the most part, don't feel that way. So I do think he's going to continue being an elite producer. But he has gotten a couple. He has gotten a few off the skate. We saw one last night where it's I don't know if you're going to get, 10 of those a year. So I think he slows down a little bit. Just a little bit. And maybe doesn't finish top 5, but is still an elite point producer. And then let me flip a question back to you, Dennis.
Okay.
How much do the Canes regret not paying whatever the going rate was for Martin Necas long-term last year?
Oh.
When after he's, 9th in the league in points this year, his agent comes back with let's renegotiate.
That's a good question. They might be kicking themselves a little bit.
That's going to be, yesterday's price is not today's price on Martin Necas.
Yeah, I know, but also it's kind of like what was Martin Necas asking for based off of, what he was producing. Yeah, it's a good question.
I just think those negotiations are going to be fascinating.
And they can happen again this offseason, possibly.
Walk in, chest popped up if I'm Martin Necas' agent. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Earlier today, during our breaking news coverage of the Mack Brown firing, right, as that news broke and kind of distributed across the sports world earlier today, we came on live here on 99.9 The Fan, broke into coverage, and part of that was a conversation with Bren Rener, 4th all-time in passing yards for the Tar Heels, 3rd all-time in passing touchdowns. His reaction to his alma mater moving on from their coach. We thought we'd replay that for you now. Here's myself with Bren Rener earlier today. Right now, joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, we have Bren Renner. Bren Renner is the 4th leading passing yardage career leader in UNC history, 3rd in touchdown passes, and also has been doing some stuff with the Tar Heel Sports Network covering the team. Bren, thank you very much for jumping on the show in short notice. Tim Donnelly here alongside Paul Ihander. We'll start with just the first reactions. When you saw the news, what was the thing as an alumni, as somebody that cares about the program, that jumps into your head?
Yeah, Tim, thanks for having me on. I think initially, look, Tim, I think I've played, I've played at Carolina, obviously, and then played in the NFL for quite some time, and then, got into coaching, and I was around a coach, Butch Davis, who was my head coach at Carolina, and was an older guy around, Coach Brown's age. And I coached with Butch for 5 seasons. And, I saw firsthand kind of the same thing. We got fired in 2021. And so I'm speaking from a place of experience, because you never want to see a coach being fired. And I think Coach Brown has done a phenomenal job, coming back to Carolina and providing, his services and kind of, making the place relevant again during some tough times. And I think, when you look at football in general, Tim, it's a performance-based business. And at the end of the day, if you're not producing, then they're going to move forward. And I've been cut from the NFL 5 times, so I understand that. So I've seen it at all different levels. So I don't want to speak with kind of not the background that I've been in those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And for Coach Brown, he's done a phenomenal job. And I said that when I first joined the radio this year, I think he's done a great job of getting the kids involved and bringing us back. And he's had really good quarterbacks. And I think this year was just a tough year to see kind of that transition, especially with the opening game, you lose your starting quarterback. But life in football is kind of one of these things where there's highs and there's lows. And I'm sure the university and everybody will get on board and support Coach Brown in his next steps and hopefully go find another replacement.
We're talking with Bren Rener, former UNC quarterback, played at UNC prior to Mack Brown 2.0. So not talking about his old coach, but talking about his old program. Brinn, I think all of this really boils down to Mack Brown 2.0, 44 and 32 in the win-loss column. You mentioned it's a results-based business. It's a 57% win percentage. It's a bowl game every year, but it's no 10-win seasons, no real challenging for the the top of the top, the ACC championships and beyond. Is it fair to say those expectations or the expectations are higher than that for UNC football? And if somebody's going to be a bowl game every year but nothing more, that's not enough?
I think expectations for any type of university playing competitive football, whether it's ACC or a Power 5, is at an all-time high right now because the money that's involved, that's invested in the programs, right? There's NIL, there's booster clubs, there's different avenues to generate revenue for football. And I think Carolina fan base wants football to be at the highest of highs because that's the expectation that we have. I have that as an alumni, and I want to see a good product on the field. And I think, just as far as the football culture is concerned, at Carolina, that's the expectation. It always has been. I think it always will be. And I think just different obstacles prevent that at times. And but you want to see a good, consistent product, good effort on the field, and really good players. And players dominate the sport now. And you have to be competitive. And I think, not saying that a bowl game is not great, but I think that the standards are higher at Carolina. I think they always have been. I think they always will be. Since I, honestly joined the team in 2009, I think it's always been like that.
We're talking with Bren Rener, the ACC passer rating leader from the year 2011 during his time with the Tar Heels. What are the challenges at UNC? What were the things that Mack Brown wasn't able to overcome and make this second term a little bit more successful?
I think it's, Tim, to speak about how we, Sam Howell and Drake May had a 5-year stint that was really, really impressive. And the quarterback position is the most important position in college football. You can't survive without one. And when you lose really two great ones that will, honestly, I haven't seen back-to-back quarterbacks with that much production come through Carolina ever. And I doubt we'll see it again. But when you lose those guys within your program, it's really tough to replace. So I think that was number one. But I think number two, recruiting. I think just kind of getting a variety of different kids and nationally recruiting. I think that's the biggest thing. And I was director of recruiting at FIU for 5 years, and we nationally recruited at FIU. And I think just getting the type of caliber kids that can, really fit your program and fit your offense, and kind of just recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. It really is. It's the nature of the business right now. And you know that, Tim. And I think that's the biggest thing is you have to get really good players that buy into your system. And there's obstacles with the transfer portal, but everyone faces the same obstacles. I think that's the frustration for the fan base is, we need to get in the game and kind of stay in the game and stay consistent with our football program. And I think that's probably, been an issue for quite some time of getting consistency. We went from Butch Davis to Everett Withers to Larry Fedora, and then now to Coach Brown. I think just getting consistent coaching and consistent recruiting and getting everybody on board is something that we're going to strive for going forward.
You've obviously brought up Drake May and Sam Howell a few times, and rightfully so. The last 5 years, 6 years of the program have been in part defined by their presence at quarterback. If you look at Mack Brown's, Mack Brown 2.0's tenure, it's not just those guys. There's Josh Downs who's making a living in the NFL.
Yeah.
Cedric Gray, who is a stud and drafted this past year. You can go back further to the Javonte Williams and the Michael Carters and the De'Ami Browns. Like these guys, like I say, they're legit NFL players in a lot of ways. How much does that impact the view of how Mack Brown 2.0 has gone when it's like you are recruiting well, you're recruiting NFL guys to an extent, and you're still not able to get over that hump and grab the 10-win season or whatever glass ceiling everyone's trying to break through?
Yeah, I think it. Tim, I think when you mention it, it's very frustrating. I think you kind of get to that point where if you get 6 or 7 or 8 wins with all those players, you're kind of asking why we didn't win more. And I think there's just been close games and close calls, but when you mentioned that, it kind of stirs up. Okay, well, where are we missing? Where are we not continuing to get those players and having the production and showing up in wins? And I think it's a good question. And I think, every time in the offseason when you look at a program, you have to go back and do some self-scouting and where you can get better as a coach and as a whole. And I know a lot of people within the building that, were there since I was there playing and also being around the team as much as I've been this year, that are really, really good people and really good at their jobs. And so you hate to see them have to go and find a new job and new location potentially. But when you look at the whole, I think there needs to be more production from the university. I think there needs to be more wins from the football program. And, you mentioned all those great players and the great players that came through during Coach Brown's 2.0 era. I just think there should have been more wins. There should have been, different things that happened through the course of those years. For whatever reason, it just didn't show up in the win column. But, hopefully we can do a good job. And I know the board of trustees and everybody at the university is going to coach, Mr. Cunningham's going to do a great job of starting that search process.
We're talking with Bren Rener. Brinn, before we let you go, and just so everybody knows, Bren Rener, third leading passer in touchdowns in UNC history, is joining us here for his initial reactions to the Mack Brown firing. But Brinn, gut reaction. Just through this conversation, we've heard you talk about your experience as a player, as a coach, as a media member, as a fan, as an alumni. You see this from all angles. It doesn't take long for everybody to go to who's next. If you were in Mr. Cunningham, Bubba Cunningham's shoes, what are your priorities for the next guy? What does the next coach need to do to unlock what I consider as a sleeping giant in the North Carolina football program?
Yeah, I wish I was Tim. I wish I was paid to make those decisions, but I'm not. We have people that are more well equipped than me, so I'll kind of start my opinion with that. And I think like you said, I've done it at every single level. I've been at the highest highs and lowest of lows. So of the sport and of the profession. And my dad was a football coach for 30 years.
Another angle. You got him covered from all angles. So yeah, I'm more on the hook.
I got football covered, man. So. But to answer your question, I think someone that Carolina is special to my heart. It really is. My sister's a dance team coach. My parents live there. I go back often. And I think for that position, you have to understand how special of a place it is, number one. And number two, you have to get really good, talented players within the state. And I think number three, you got to go get a quarterback. And you got to develop the lineage of quarterbacks. I know the Bryce Baker kid is a phenomenal player and he's from the state, and hopefully we can keep him on board. But when you have a guy at that position that can lead, and you have a head coach that can lead, and you have young life within the program and develop chemistry, I don't think anybody should beat the University of North Carolina within the state. I just don't. And I think that it's a competitive advantage when you step on the field at Keenan. And you feel the energy, and I think it's a great place that's gotten even better with the facilities, that's got even better with the indoor, and the fan base and alumni that have come before us. I mean, we have a ton of guys in the NFL, as you mentioned. You would be, once you step on campus, if you don't want to go to the University of North Carolina, you got something wrong with you. And I think it's just that special a place. So I think the next coach has to understand what the expectation is for the program going forward. If we do, potentially move conferences or stay in the ACC, I think that's number one, and go and recruit. And it should be easy sell to come to North Carolina, in my opinion. But hey, I love the place, so I'm kind of biased, right, Tim?
Hey, if you weren't, it would be weird. So I'll give you that. Thank you very much for jumping on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. And good luck to you in all your endeavors. And you say you come back to the area all the time. Let's see you in the studio once or twice, okay?
Yeah, I'd love to. I watch your show too, Tim, so you do great things. My dad watches it too, so you do a great job.
Once again, that was earlier today with Bren Rener, former UNC quarterback, and shout out to his dad for watching the show. I like, by the way, when they say watching, because that means they're on our YouTube, so you should join them there. Join the community, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Right now, Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Group, and of course that includes Coach Pete. We're talking a lot about the importance of coaching today, right? Somebody who's more experienced than you, has seen more, that might be pointing you in the right direction. Hey, that's what Coach Pete wants to do when it comes to your retirement fund. He has 3+ decades in the retirement planning industry. He's seen it all, and he's still looking to innovate. When it comes to the new and innovative forms of life insurance, he's on the cutting edge. When it comes to protecting your cash, right? Not taking all the risk in the world, but making sure that you are not dependent on the market for the success of your retirement funds. It's all there. And Coach Pete wants to pass that along like any good coach, right? Wants to pass along what he's learned through years and years and years to you so you can benefit from it. And if there's one thing Coach Pete really hates, it's financial termites. That's the fees, the commissions, the cost, the risk that you may not even know are coming out of your retirement plan. If you want Coach Pete to help exterminate those financial termites, give him a call. Then the number to call is 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Let them know you heard about it from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan, and they will hook you up with your complete, total, customized retirement plan, but also his 7 Baby Steps box set for free. If you don't want to call, you can always text. Just text my name, T-I-M, Tim, just 3 letters to 600-700. They'll know what that means. That's Tim. Text it in to 600-700 so they know who sent you. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's time for a feedback frenzy, and we'll open up the phone lines. If you want to give us your reactions to Mack Brown being fired from UNC football, 919-860-5326 is the Heister Automotive Group hotline. That's 919-860-5326. Your feedback coming up next.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
Hey guys, this is Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry, and we know that you want to get your wife or girlfriend something special this Christmas. But sometimes you just don't know what to get. You wonder, what will she like? What will make her feel special? What will make her say, wow? At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we have experts that are here to help. We specialize in making you look like a hero. You can even send her in to make a wish list that we keep on file to help make your life just a little bit easier. Bailey's has the largest selection of jewelry in North Carolina, including designers like David Yurman, Lagos, Marco Biccigo, and Ippolita, as well as beautifully curated Bailey's collections. And don't fret, because if for some reason she doesn't love your gift, we have a 30-day return policy. Our goal is to be your go-to jeweler for life. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located in Raleigh's Village District, Crabtree Valley Mall, and Cary's Fenton. Also in Rocky Mount and Greenville. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
It's Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Stack up the savings with deals all month. Get up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, take an additional 10% off when you buy select major appliances. And don't wait to save on string lights, starting at just $2.98 for 100 count. Shop these deals in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Appliances valid 11/6 through 12/4. Cannot be combined with additional discounts. See Lowe's.com for details and qualifying items. String lights valid 11/21 through 12/4 while supplies last.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Mack Brown earlier today, news spreading throughout the college football and sports world that Mack Brown, UNC head football coach, fired. Statement came out from the coach, confirmed by the school. He passed it along to his players. He is no longer, after this season, and he will coach the regular season finale against NC State. He will no longer be the coach of the UNC football team. If you have reactions to that, if you are agreeing with it, mad about it, think it's good, have a reason why, Heister Automotive Group hotline will open up for you right now, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Additionally, we'll get your feedback in another way, in something we call a feedback frenzy, which is where Dennis patrols our YouTube comments, finds the best, the most insightful, the most interesting comments, and he brings them to the air. Dennis, what do you have?
All right, so we have posted some videos already of Mack Brown getting let go, and this actually comes from Scott the Marine. Scott the Marine says, this was not handled well. They should have announced Mack is stepping down, but will still be involved in recruiting and behind-the-scenes advisory stuff. He could have remained a good asset to the program, but it seems this is alienating him. I disagree with the compensation bit. I think he's referring to Omari and Hampton. It wasn't that they had 1/4 the amount. It was that Hampton wanted to play for UNC and for Mack. We'll be lucky to fill the team with the attrition that is about to happen.
Few things. First of all, if you want to do he's transitioning to another, we don't know who was against that. I actually respect Mack Brown in this way. I believe he's not somebody that's like, oh, you're firing me? Well, let's make this easier for both of us. He's like, no, I want to be the coach. If you want to get rid of me, get rid of me. But I'm not walking away from this, right? I think Mack Brown comes from a certain age, and this is me just kind of reading tea leaves here. I think he comes from a certain age of coach who's like, no, you're going to have to fire me. And that means he may have been the one who's like, I don't want to transition to an advisory role. I don't want to be, glad-handing boosters at games. Like, I'm either the head coach of this program or you are getting rid of me as the head coach of this program. So I don't know which, I don't know which was the no there. So maybe Bubba Cunningham and UNC wanted that, and Mack Brown was like, I'm the coach until you say otherwise, and I'm not making it easy for you. Secondarily, I'm confused. So the point I made earlier was at ACC tip-off, Mack Brown chose to highlight that Omari and Hampton, their starting running back, had offers for 4 times the money to go elsewhere, even though he had never been in the transfer portal, which was a little hint at hey, tampering exists. But he obviously highlighting Omari and Hampton wanted to be at UNC, which is true. And there is positives there. I'm not saying there's none. But I am saying also, I don't know if I would let everybody know that I couldn't come up with the money that other schools could come up with for my starting running back. Because in the future of college sports, money makes the world go round, right? Wins chase dollars. And if UNC didn't have them or chose to use them somewhere else, that's kind of a sign. I just think it's a different beast there. Hit us with the next comment. Which, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm not getting emotional. I got something in my eye or something, so I'm not sitting here crying tears over Mack Brown's. Trust me, that career, that legacy that Mack Brown has, there's no tears being shed. There's celebrations happening. He is a Hall of Famer in a whole bunch of different ways.
Okay, this one comes from Tony Ladd, okay guy. Well, if football mattered at UNC, it would be the most important hire, but it should be obvious this is not a football school. And I say this as a UNC grad, back class of 89. All you had to do is watch some college football any given Saturday, compare the crowd size / enthusiasm level with many other schools, and it should be obvious that the wine and cheese reputation is deserved and certainly doesn't work with football. Mack Brown is a great guy and had his day, but hiring him in 2018 after the Fedora disaster was a lazy decision and just another symptom of UNC not taking football seriously. And there's no reason to believe that they won't take the cheap, unimaginative, safe way out with the next hire.
Stumbled into one of my pet theories about this firing. I wonder if UNC didn't see the Mack Brown 2.0 experience as something else with a different goal then Mack Brown saw the Mack Brown 2.0 experience. The end of the Fedora years, yikes. What was it, 3 wins and 2 wins in his last 2 years? I'm wondering if UNC didn't hire a familiar face who everybody loved, who was professional and brought name recognition, who was also, I believe, 67, 68 years old at the time of his hiring for Mack Brown 2.0. I wonder if they didn't hire him thinking like this will be 2 or 3 years of shedding the dead weight, figuring out, getting us back to neutral, and then making us a more attractive program for the next hire. And he retires at 70, 71 years old. And then Mack Brown just didn't get that memo and was like, no, I'm a coach for the next 7 years, 8 years. Like I want to make this as good as I did last time. I want to chase those highs. And now UNC's going like, we're 6 years in. This was supposed to be the palate cleanser. This was supposed to get everybody the bad taste of the previous regime out of your mouth and leave you in a better position for the next potential hire. And it just like, how do we tell them we weren't expecting this to be a long-term thing. We were kind of hoping this would be like a summer romance. It would have been fun. But then when school pops around, we're no longer dating.
You're supposed to stay overnight, not the whole weekend.
Yeah, it's like it's Wednesday. You were a weekend guest. Because I'll say this is a credit to Mack Brown. Leaving the program better than he found it.
Very much so.
Leaving the program better than he found it.
Very much so.
With more wins, with more recruiting success, with more buzz, more NFL players. That is, I think might have been the goal of the Mack Brown era. They were just hoping it would have taken 3 or 4 years, then he would choose to bail, rather than 6 years and they're forcing him to bail.
I think the biggest thing that he did in his return was reestablishing the relationships of UNC football with the schools in the state of North Carolina, because Fedora just did nothing with that, was awful with it. Mack Brown reestablished that recruiting connection with schools in the state of North Carolina, hence why some of their top talent came from inside the state of North Carolina.
I think it is extremely important that as every time we mention Sam Howell and Drake May as these 2 blue chip prospects that how do you not win with these great quarterbacks, we mention 2 North Carolina prospects, played their youth ball, high school ball, everything right here in the state of North Carolina, and 2 guys that were committed to major programs outside of the state before Mack Brown got them to flip and stay at UNC. Sam Howell committed to Florida State, and Drake May committed to Alabama before eventually going to UNC. So he is leaving the program better than he found it. How about another question?
Okay, this one
comment
This one actually comes from the Carolina Panthers.
Look at that.
Talking about Dave Canales and Bryce Young. This one comes from Thornton Willie.
What's up, Thornton?
I think the game just had to slow down for Bryce Young. Some first-round picks just take some time to develop.
There is actually a very, very small percentage of quarterbacks that get benched in their first year or 2 and then come back to be very, very good. It does happen occasionally, which is why you can't speak in absolutes. But Bryce Young, if he is one of those first-round picks that need a while and also need to go reset themselves with some time on the bench, he'd be going against the odds. He'd be going against the odds is kind of the nice way to say it, but that's not to say it's impossible. And I'll be the first to raise my hand and say that guy looks like a completely different quarterback than we saw prior to the benching. So he's got something cooking. I just don't know if it's this is how it always goes. It's like actually most guys that are really, really good show more the first few times they get an opportunity to start. Do you have another one?
I do.
Right,
actually,
cool.
This is regarding to last week when NC State lost on Thursday night to Georgia Tech. This one comes from Harley the Eagle.
All right, Harley.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Harley the Beagle. My apologies.
Oh.
Harley the Beagle. What's up, Harley? There was a point on the last Georgia Tech drive, so this is talking about the game-winning drive that Georgia Tech had late against NC State. There was a point on the last Georgia Tech drive where you couldn't see most of our defense on the screen, and it was 3rd and 2. I knew we were screwed then.
If Tony Gibson last year, I mean, that guy could do no wrong. He is a defensive coordinator at NC State. Everybody was singing his praises. He is going to hear about that drive at the end of the Georgia Tech game forever. Prevent defense, if it doesn't work, is going to be the ire of every fan. the thing is your goals change, right? Like 3rd and 2, but you're still thinking like we just can't give up a touchdown. So first down, but if they're tackled in bounds, it's not a problem. I said this on Pack Therapy, the podcast, and you can check it out everywhere podcasts can be found. My answer to that question is the same every time. Should you go prevent? Should you blitz? Should you bring pressure? Do you give them all the time? I just don't want to be predictable. I don't want the opposing team's offensive coordinator to know, hey, this guy plays prevent, or he's played prevent the last 3 plays. He's going to do it again. Take the check down. Run it if you have to. I want to be completely and totally unpredictable. That means bringing 5 or 6 sometimes in pressure, blitzes. That means dropping everybody sometimes. That means twists. That means like as much as you can, disguises to not let, especially a freshman quarterback like Georgia Tech was trotting out there, feel any kind of comfort in those moments. I want them confused. So do I believe in prevent defense? If I think the opposing team isn't expecting prevent defense, I believe in prevent defense. I believe in blitzing at the end of a game. If I believe they're not expecting blitzing, I believe in blitzing. It's all about being unpredictable. I don't want to be the coach that does anything 100% of the time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a feedback frenzy. When we come back, we have a starting 5, which might as well be a frenzy of its own because we have a lot to get to. We have basketball, we have football, we have college football playoff rankings, hockey, firings, and more. Stick around.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Fox & Bailey Watch Shop. This Christmas, give a gift that stands the test of time. At Fox & Bailey, we offer an exquisite collection of the finest timepieces and distinct gifts, perfect for that special someone on your list. Whether it's a sleek and modern design or a timeless classic, our expert team will help you find the perfect watch to fit any style. Because at Fox & Bailey, we know a watch is more than just a gift. It's a lasting memory. We proudly carry some of the world's most distinguished watch brands, including Omega, Blancpain, Glashütte Original, Tissot, Nomos, Hamilton, and Norqain. Not to mention that we have the largest collection of certified pre-owned and vintage Rolex watches in North Carolina. Make this holiday unforgettable with a watch or a unique gift from Fox & Bailey, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry Village District location in Raleigh.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
It's Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Get a head start on Black Friday all month long with exclusive deals. Right now, get 25% off select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees just in time for the holidays. And get a free select tool when you buy a select battery or combo kit. So don't wait to save. Shop these deals in-store or online now because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/21 through 11/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Our cold front has passed. Cooler air coming in tonight. Mostly clear to partly cloudy, 37 the low. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy. It's a little cooler than today, the high 61. Showers and thunderstorms expected for Thanksgiving Day.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones today at the closing bell up 123 points to 44,860. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five here on a Tuesday. And as always, we get started with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Back to Davis. Shot clock at 13. Gets the screen from Washington. Davis, step back 3 for the lead. Yes! Nothing but net. Do it, baby!
Last night was a wild game for the UNC Tar Heels in the Maui Invitational. So they're playing Dayton, which I think many of us would expect to have been an easy win. But if you stayed up late for the game, it was very obviously not. They did win the game, but I'll put it this way. I'll tell you the timeline. So I watched the Canes game, and then I was watching the Canes game and Monday Night Football overlapping. Then after just about all that was done, you stay up to watch a Maui Invitational North Carolina Dayton game. And I'm thinking this. I'm thinking UNC is going to get up by 20 in the first half. Then I'll go to sleep, and I won't miss anything. The exact opposite happens. UNC is getting smoked, which we've seen before. But they at halftime, they're down 18. And I go, all right, well, it's not what I thought was going to happen. But this one's pretty much, all but over. So I'll still go to sleep. Wake up the next day. UNC won? What? How? Who? How? What happened? All right, let me go watch it back. Oh, goodness. RJ Davis went bananas, had 30 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. It's kind of funny because yesterday I said, RJ Davis hasn't gone nuclear, but he will. I'm not worried. And then not 7 hours later, he was like, full nuclear over here. Watch this.
Second half. I got you, fam.
Oh, by the way, Seth Trimble, 27 points as he continues to establish himself as a dependable scorer. Seth Trimble went in the transfer portal this offseason. It might be the biggest move of an ACC team, getting him out of the portal and back to UNC, because you didn't only get the 6th man and defensive stopper from last year. You got an elite scorer and out of the mix. Somebody to take some scoring pressure off of RJ Davis. It was the latest example in UNC basketball continuing to put themselves in the most uncomfortable situations and letting them figure it out. UNC's early season schedule. This is one of my favorite life lessons from sports. I had a great youth baseball coach. Okay. I think everyone that played for him was a better athlete and understood how to overcome adversity, team sports, all of that much better just having played for him. And one of my favorite things, especially once you figured it out, you played for him a couple of years and you kind of saw the way he operated. One of my favorite things was to watch a 10-year-old pitcher, 11-year-old pitcher be out there on the mound having walked 3 batters. And they're looking to the dugout, just going come take me out, man. Or come talk to me. Give me something. And he just looks at him and is encouraging as heck from the dugout, just no, you're good. Hey, how you shoot? How you fire, right? Hey, just you and the catcher. And it's basically the situation stinks, but guess what? You're good enough. No one's going to help you out of it. Figure it out now, and you'll be better for it in the future. Well, I'm going to look at UNC tonight as they take on Auburn, the number 4 team in the country, and say, you're exhausted from a miraculous comeback. You're on an island that is over 4,600 miles from your home. You're playing the number 4 team in the country. Figure it out, and you'll be better for it. Same is true as early in their year, right? We're going to put you in Kansas's gym, an away game. They're the number 1 team in the country for your second game of the year, and you're going to be down 20 in the first half. Figure it out now, and you'll be better for it in the future. By the way, it doesn't stop here. You get Auburn today. If you win, you get another big game in the Maui Invitational Final. And then guess what? Guess what your next game is? You set up this brutal, which, by the way, the final game in the Maui Invitational could have been UConn. They lost, but it could have been. Your next game is number 9 Alabama. It is no playing around for UNC. They are making their team uncomfortable early on, and I love it. I love it.
Sweet 16 rematch.
Sweet 16 rematch. And Mark Sears, RJ Davis, 2 of the 5 or 6 All-Americans, depending on which list you're looking at. Big-time matchup. Let's air RJ Davis on what led to the comeback just because we have the audio.
It was a lot of motivation going to halftime for myself and Seth. We were kind of like the voice in terms of just trying to get guys going and just build our spirit. Obviously, we went down big in the first half. It wasn't the first half we like to play, and myself and Seth, we just told them we gotta stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We're always putting ourselves in these positions, and then gotta climb our way back into the game. So, if we could just put together the second half like we did tonight in the first half for a full 40 minutes, we'll be more than fine. But I feel like in the second half, the way we battled, we competed, we just chipped away possession by possession. I think that's when we knew we could come back to this game.
Seth Trimble and RJ Davis had 62% of UNC's points. 57 out of 92. It's 2 very good scores that were pretty much in the zone. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Here's a double team. It's Cooper Flagg. Faces up. It scores! Cold-blooded. Cooper Flagg has 22.
Cooper Flagg is once again ready for his close-up. Duke playing number 1 Kansas tonight in Vegas. 9 p.m., the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Number 1 team in the country in a little town called Las Vegas in the building that is home to the Las Vegas Golden Knights. That is the perfect storm for a take 2 of your introduction to the casual fan of college basketball for one of the most talented players in the country, I would say, over the last handful of years. That Kentucky game was anticlimactic for Cooper Flagg. It was very good. It was rising action. It was building suspense. And then you have the ball in your hands, tie game, less than a minute to play, and you dribble it away. And you go and you get the ball back, and now you're down 2, and the ball is in your hands, and you dribble it away. And what you heard was every casual fan going, Well, guess what? A basketball season is long, and a Duke schedule is going to have so many opportunities for you to reintroduce yourself to the world, or the country at least. And you got one tonight. Kansas, Hunter Dickinson, another All-American. But as you learned the first time, a close-up can have you ever? Maybe I'm the one that's had this thought. Have you ever seen a true movie star, like a Denzel or something like that, and you're in the movies and you're watching just the biggest screen in the entire movie theater, and they have a zoom in on their face where their face is 45 feet tall. And I'm always wondering, I bet you Denzel hates seeing this. He probably likes it because he's Denzel. But I'm every imperfection, I don't like my nose is that big or something, and now it's 60 feet tall in an IMAX, and you're just I gotta. Those HD IMAX cameras really do pick up everything, don't they? Well, that's essentially what a number 1 ranked opponent in Vegas is. They're going to zoom in on you to show the good. They're going to zoom in on you to show the bad. I'll use another movie example. just because I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently. I'm going to be driving a lot upcoming, so I'll be listening to a ton of podcasts and a ton of this show. Michael Keaton. Remember Michael Keaton? Everybody remembers Michael Keaton. I was listening to a podcast. He was telling a story about when he first became Batman. And Jack Nicholson, who was playing the Joker, kind of told him, like, hey, man, if this movie hits, if Batman hits, your life is going to be forever changed. Like, you're no longer going to have to audition. You're not going to be able to go out in public. Like, your life is going to change. And Keaton was like, eh. But he said, in my brain, I was thinking also, if it doesn't hit, this is the kind of movie that's a real long, hard recovery from, for your career, right? Then I'm auditioning for everything because everyone's going like, weren't you the guy that tanked Batman? A bad game makes the overrated chance louder in this one for Cooper, Flagg, and Duke. Kansas is good. Kansas isn't number one in the country for no reason. You play well, everyone will respect it because it's against Kansas. You get smoked, which is possible because it's Kansas. All that, Cooper Flagg wasn't all that. That's going to be pretty loud too. I'm excited for the game. I'm excited for all the action tonight. A lot of good college basketball. That's number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
You cannot lose to Vanderbilt, and you cannot lose to 5-loss Oklahoma and make the college football playoffs. I think Ole Miss is out. You can't lose to 4-loss LSU.
That was John Michaels down there in Atlanta talking about the CFP rankings. They are updated tonight, which is a good thing to bring up because, we argued about it all last week. We're going to argue about it once they come out tonight. There's a difference between the rankings and the final rankings, right? I always thought sometimes you see the college football playoff committee, if they know two teams are going to face each other, they'll rise them up the ranks a little bit, knowing, hey, guess what? One of them is going to be eliminated. They're going to play each other. So, you can put Clemson and South Carolina or Georgia and Georgia Tech, if they were both good, up there, knowing they'll eliminate themselves. It's like, let's make an easy decision for us. These are not the final rankings. However, they do impact the final rankings. Dennis and I were talking. It's all about, for the ACC, I believe, getting 2 teams in. Getting 1 team in is just bad optics. You have an auto bid from your conference champion. Getting 2 teams in becomes vital. And where the rankings are going into the ACC championship impacts that. I put the cutoff at like 5. If Miami, who is 8th from last week, and got a dominant victory this past week over Wake Forest, if they can get going into the ACC championship game into the top 5 in the country, I think that's crucial for the ACC. I think if SMU were to beat Miami in the ACC championship, SMU would get the automatic bid, and if you're top 5, I don't think you fall out of the top 10. However, if Miami is like 7th going into the ACC championship game and loses to SMU, I think they fall out of the college football playoff rankings, and then SMU would be the only team that makes it. Same is true in reverse. If SMU is sitting at 10th and they lose to Miami in the ACC championship game, they're definitely falling out of the top 12 and out of the college football playoff expanded field. So it is this happens with playoffs every year. You hear a team that's like, we're not mathematically eliminated yet. If we win out and the Bucks lose 2 or 3 and the Packers beat the Jags, which raises the strength of schedule of this team who we play against, and then the next week it gets even more specific and even more specific. That's where the ACC is. This is the only way I can see the ACC getting 2 teams in the college football playoff. It's if Miami and SMU win the rest of their regular season games, rise in the rankings until one or both of them are like top 7, top 5, and then whichever is the lower ranked team beats the higher ranked team in the ACC championship. And the higher in a close game, by the way, that has to be a tight game where both teams look good, pass the eye test. And then whoever was the higher ranked team will fall down to like 10th or 11th, but still make the college football playoff. That's all I'm asking for. Is that too much to ask? Heather Dinich of ESPN broke down ACC versus SEC when it comes to the college football playoff rankings. Here's Heather.
big picture, I only have 3 SEC teams in my bracket.
Whoa.
And none of them have 3 losses. It's Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee, with Alabama and Ole Miss on the outside looking in. A week ago, I had 5 because I had Alabama and Ole Miss in. So it's a drastic change. But to your point, now I have 2 ACC teams in for the first time. SMU and Miami are both in my top 10.
Top 10. Can we commit
Let's
to top
go.
5?
Let's go.
10, 10, 10, do I hear 9? 9, 9, do I hear 7? 7, do I hear top 7? We need top 10. We need to drive up the auction price. We need top 10. We need top 8. We need top 5. I'll take top 7, but I'm going to lay it on heavy. Come on, you have it. Do you have it? Let me hear 7. Raise the paddle. Do I hear 7?
Who wants it?
That's number 3. Those rankings coming out tonight at 7, by the way. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the 2 of us. Gostisbehere fakes the shot. You'll get it back for Natchez. Natchez looking. It's a flex off of the skate. The score! Marty Natchez making his own look. And on the power play, the Canes get the bounce. It's 5-4.
I feel like this is, by the way, I don't know if I've said this on air. I will not be in here hosting the show tomorrow. You will be in good hands. The Next Up crew will be moving into afternoons for the day. So Paul Ihander will be hosting. I believe Graham Hill will be producing.
Because I'll be sitting in for Adam.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Adam and I getting a jump start on the holiday.
I know. Look at you guys.
Which, by the way, I'm very excited for. We're going to get some family time. But also, man, this was a day to pack a lot. Like we didn't get enough time to talk Canes today. We just didn't. We just didn't have it. The Mack Brown news, the college basketball news, college football news, and like there's too much going on. So I'm going to squeeze some Canes takes in here. But also, I do have to understand, Dennis, I got a little bit of time to talk about the Canes. We haven't really opened it up for you. Last night, as crazy a finish, 5 goals in the third to win a game against Dallas. Give us your takeaways.
I loved the fact that this team easily could have just packed it in. Like, hey, nothing's going our way. We're not getting any calls. Nothing is breaking our way. Get every reason to pack it in. They said, nope. Early in this third period, just a minute 10 in, Jarvis to Aho. Okay, we're right back in this thing. Oh, then Burns gets one, and it was like the stall line just doing the yeoman's work that they do, just forechecking. And then all of a sudden, power play chance. Oh, they're going to get one here. And sure enough, Gostisbehere snipes one. Oh, another power play opportunity after Dallas scored. Nate just gets the bounce of all bounces. But hey, you know what? Sometimes things are going your way, they're going your way, and they went right for 20 minutes, and that's all you needed.
The power play is an interesting deal. The Canes had 0 power plays through the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, nothing. And they easily could have had multiple.
This might be me overthinking, and I am wont to do. I do that all the time. I think that actually kind of helped them in the third period.
Oh, yeah.
Because it did feel like they were saying, hey, man, if we get any call, this is a completely different game.
Mm-hmm.
If we get any call. I've used this example in the past, but my cousin and podcast co-host, Pack Therapy, Mike Glennon, I was in attendance. My season had ended, drove down to NC State there was an NC State-Maryland game, ended up being the second biggest comeback in ACC history. NC State was down like 30 to Maryland and stormed back. And I remember thinking at halftime, there were reasons that were self-inflicted or that were like wouldn't remain through the second half that Maryland grew this gigantic lead. So once those reasons changed, I was like, I think they could come back. And you may not believe me because everybody says like, I predicted it, but I kind of did. And some family members will back me up on that. I think that was kind of the way for the Canes where they're like, yeah, we're down 3-1, but we haven't had a single power play. And I mean, if we get a power play to go, hey, this is, that's 3-2. That's completely different. They got the power play, boom, scored. They got another power play, boom, scored. Like it's I don't know. It gave something to point to other than we're just playing bad. It's like we haven't got any calls. It's pretty obvious. Once we get some calls, this is a completely different game. And then it's almost like, I don't want to say you're disassociating yourself with the deficit, but you are kind of disassociating yourself with the deficit. Like, hey, we're behind, but that's not us. We're just not getting the calls, which helps you mentally. Sebastian Aho, 4 points. Seth Jarvis with 3 in his return, including the shorthanded goal earlier, which tied the game at one apiece. I mean, it was really the bright spot through the early part. So, he's Seth Jarvis plays a role on this team that I think only Seth Jarvis could play, which is, and I hate this as the descriptor, but it's little brother energy. It's like when everyone else is tired and just wants to watch cartoons, he's like running around. Let's play. When everybody else starts slow, he's like, I'll score a shorthanded goal. And it's just like, dude, really? But, by about 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday, everybody's outside playing hoops, and it's all because Seth Jarvis had the energy. Little brother's got him going. And there might be a better way to describe it, a better analogy. I just haven't found it yet. He does it both on the ice and off the ice, and it worked once again. And Rod Brindamore praised him for it. That's number 2. Let's get to the biggest story of the day.
You never talk to your athletic director till the year's over. Everybody always does that. My total focus is on NC State. What an awful thing to be talking about me when we just played a bad game and need to beat State.
And I guess just along those lines, is it still your intention to return next season?
Yes.
It was his intention to return this season. That was Mack Brown speaking to the media yesterday. It was not the intention of the school, because today it was revealed, reporting done early by Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports, that Mack Brown has been fired as the head coach of UNC football. Earlier today, Dave Doran, the head coach of NC State, who Mack Brown will coach against this weekend in the rivalry game, he will remain as the acting head coach through this weekend. Dave Doran spoke on the Mack Brown firing, and here's that audio.
What a great career, and I have nothing but respect for Coach Brown. I've known him since I was a young assistant coach, and he's done things the right way. He's worked hard in this profession. He's helped a lot of coaches, and so I have a lot of respect for him. And I don't know all the ins and outs of anything I found out on the field a second ago. I do know he's coaching the game, and as always, look forward to coaching in this rivalry and against Coach. And so, I just want to wish him well. And obviously, this week's about our football team, and that's where our focus is trying to take all the things that are about the rivalry, but pour it into the execution of playing the game the way it needs to be played.
It's going to change the vibe of that game. We're going to talk about it to end the show. I think Dave Doran enjoys the back and forth of a rival. I think he enjoys, getting his barbs in with the rivals head coach and poking fun at their program. I don't think he can enjoy it knowing that the coach was just fired. It's coaches are kind of siblings. And to use the most obvious analogy, where it's like, no, we can pick on each other, but when someone's hurting, we do wrap them up in kind of our fraternity, because they've all been there. They've seen their friends be in that situation. They've seen their mentors be in that situation. Everybody at some point in time loses their job in coaching. It's the nature of the beast. So, I do think there will be more. They're going to have to make sure the NC State rivalry attitude is aimed directly at the program and not at Mack Brown, because aim it at the fan base and not at Mack Brown, because Mack Brown's he's going through it. With that being said, UNC can send out Mack Brown on a high note. I don't know if Mack Brown is a guy that loves the North Carolina Tar Heels. A parting image of him preventing NC State from going to a bowl game is probably something that would be bittersweet, but it would add the sweet to the bitter for Mack Brown and the entire fan base that'll be kind of saying their goodbyes to him as head coach this weekend.
And it's senior day.
Yep. And there's always, and it's a rivalry, and just throw it out there. It's that shade of blue against red is gonna draw up some emotions in people. So there's gonna be a lot of controlling your emotions in that one, and then from that point forward, who knows what happens with UNC as far as where they're looking next. Now, I did say this earlier. Pat Welter of WRAL, sports reporter, did tweet out that he has some sources within the UNC program who believe that a decision on who will be the next coach of UNC may have already been made internally. Not announced, but the powers that be kind of already know where they're going next. And it could be announced as soon as this Sunday, which would give the next coach time to circle the wagons before, I think it's December 9th is the opening of the transfer portal. Obviously, they'll have a bowl game, so he'll be able to talk and figure out what UNC wants to do moving forward, because that's the next priority. You can't be a college football program with no beacon, no lighthouse guiding your way, no coach at the front of the room, because players that don't have something to follow will go to other schools, and the transfer portal will be active, and recruits will decommit. And heck, even if you get a new coach, some of that will happen, but you can stem the tide and make priorities and try to keep players who you are most interested in. And we'll talk about that as it goes on and as more news breaks. But that is number one of the starting five. Mack Brown fired from UNC. Right now, we need some numbers game contestants. No easy transition there. $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card will go to the winner of the numbers game. To play the numbers game, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. We need two contestants. 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game is coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
I'm not saying Pyotr Kochetkov can't be the goaltender, but for the next 2.5 to 3 months, your tandem needs to be better than Kochetkov and Spencer Martin. Until Frederik Andersen comes back, to rely on those two goalies to get you through the next 40 games, man, that is a recipe I don't want to taste. Get me a backup goalie for Kochetkov.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift, or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. Not available in Washington State.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have a $25 Autobell Car Wash gift card going to the winner. Competing will be John in Wilson and Zach in Raleigh. John, we'll start with you. As always, we have to ask a question. We pick our favorite answer to see who goes first. This is my last show before Thanksgiving, so we're going to hit you with a stereotypical question here. What is your favorite side? We got the turkey. What's your favorite side? What is the number one thing taking up real estate around the turkey on your plate?
Favorite side is the sweet potato casserole, but it's got to have the pecans in it.
Sweet. I like this. We're a big fan of specifics on this show, so I like the pecans. Let's go to Zach and Raleigh. You are up next. Same question to you. The same question is, what's your favorite side for Thanksgiving?
I would have to say my grandmother's collard greens. There's nothing like them.
Those are two very good answers. I am glad I do not have to be the one to decide. Dennis, as the judge, who gets to go first?
This is actually a difficult one. And here's the thing. I'm not the biggest fan of either of these.
Okay.
So, but I love...
Let's pretend you're at someone's house and you don't know them. So you got to be polite and take a scoop. Which one are you most excited about?
I probably actually would try both. That's the thing. I'm okay eating both. But I'm not saying the biggest fan of either. I love John's specificity with this. Hey, it's got to have the pecans in it. Has to have it. Zach's going deep with the family thing. Hey, it's got to be grandma's. It's got to be grandma's. That's a tough one. I'm not a big pecan fan. I got to go with Zach on this one.
All right. Zach
and tying in the family thing, because everyone has like, oh, man, I love my mom's this or my uncle's that. Yeah. I'm going to go with the family on this one. Both very good answers, though, overall.
I'm going to come to, after we're done with the numbers game, I'm coming to you for your choice, so take some time to think on it.
Oh, I already know what it is.
Zach and Raleigh, you get to go first. John and Wilson, don't worry, you will have your chance. Just stay on the line. Zach, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories are NFL, we played for Mack Brown. These are players, NFL players that played for Mack Brown at his multiple stops. NFL, we played for Urban Meyer. Same deal there, just Urban Meyer. NBA, Chicago Bulls of the last 20 years, or NHL, Hurricanes only?
I'm going to go NFL Mack Brown.
All right. The way this works, I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Drake May, New England Patriots.
10.
Correct. Vince Young, Tennessee Titans.
9.
Incorrect. Cedric Benson, Cincinnati Bengals.
80.
Incorrect. Vince Young, Tennessee Titans.
Was he 10?
Correct. Derek Johnson, Kansas City Chiefs.
92.
Incorrect. Cedric Benson, Cincinnati Bengals.
53.
Incorrect. Derek Johnson, Kansas City Chiefs.
I think he's in the 50s. 56.
Correct. Was it under the wire? I go to the judge?
Shot came in before the buzzer.
All right. So 3. You got Drake May. You got Vince Young, both 10. You got Derek Johnson right under the wire with 56. Cedric Benson, running back, number 32. I don't think you weren't in the right neighborhood there. But 3 out of 4 that you heard is not bad. And 3 is a solid number. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. That means John and Wilson. John, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, we played for Urban Meyer, NBA, Chicago Bulls of the last 20 years, or NHL, Hurricanes only?
Let's go NFL Urban Meyer.
All right, these are all players that played for Urban Meyer somewhere along his coaching stint. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock, one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. You need 4 for the win, by the way, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Justin Fields, Pittsburgh Steelers.
1.
Incorrect. Joey Bosa, Los Angeles Chargers.
97.
Correct. Ezekiel Elliott, Dallas Cowboys.
21.
Correct. Malcolm Jenkins, New Orleans Saints.
Oh. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Malcolm Jenkins, New Orleans Saints.
Pat.
Tim Tebow, New York Jets.
15.
Correct. Justin Fields, Pittsburgh.
2.
Not before the buzzer. I maybe stumbled through that, but we had the long break in the middle. It was maybe out of your control, but I am unfortunately going to have to say tie goes to who goes first. So you were knocking on the door, but you are not the winner. Hopefully you had some fun.
I did.
All right, good. Sound like a good sport about it. I don't think I would have finished Justin Fields' Pittsburgh Steelers before the buzzer, even if I didn't stumble through it. So I'm going to choose that as my reasoning. Zach and Raleigh, that means you are the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is a $25 Autobell car wash gift card going your way by way of winning the numbers game. Congrats.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. But, Dennis, before you grab that info, favorite side, Thanksgiving, not turkey, something else on the plate.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah, me too.
Just mashed potatoes.
Lots of gravy.
Oh.
And also whatever else you want to throw on. The best part of mashed potatoes is it's moldable, so you can stack up and stuff won't roll off as long as it's somehow touching the mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can really use verticality on your plate to get a little bit extra on there.
I love stuffing.
I'm big on. I mean, if you're gonna do like a mac and cheese, I'm big on that.
Love mac and cheese.
I'm like, if you're gonna do like the green bean casserole, I need the crispy onions on top. You know what I'm talking about?
All right.
Cranberry sauce.
Not a cranberry guy.
Neither. Not the.
I don't
comes
like
out like a
cranberries.
hockey puck out of the can,
No.
or the like homemade with real cranberries.
Nope. Not a cranberry fan.
No. It's quintessential for the day after sandwich. You need the moisture from the cranberry to get the maybe dry turkey a day later to moisten it up a bit.
Yeah, I know.
You could also throw some gravy on there.
I say usually you'll go with a little gravy. Actually, a little extra warmed up mashed potato.
That's on there. No, 100% that's on there. Mashed potato, if there's any left.
Like who you kidding?
Yeah, it goes on. A little bit of everything. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. A bit of programming news here. Wolfpack Weekly will air. It's normally a Monday deal here on 99.9 The Fan after the show, but there was a Canes game yesterday, so Wolfpack Weekly will air at 6 o'clock today, immediately following the Drive. That is hearing from Dave Doran and insight into the NC State football program. But I should mention, just if you're expecting to tune in and hear Dave Doran's thoughts on the Mack Brown firing and that whole situation, or what it does to the rivalry game this weekend, like as I said, it normally airs on Monday. It was recorded yesterday, so it is pre-Mack Brown news. So it'll be the insight, as traditionally, like every week you hear, the insight into NC State's program featuring Dave Doran. Also, Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. If you're like me, the holidays are coming up, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas, you're going to be running around, and I'm at the age now where there's just toddlers everywhere, and there's dogs everywhere. And one thing you don't want to have to worry about is kids leaning up against windows they shouldn't, second floor screens, are they secured? You become a parent, you become a grandparent, those things, they pop into your head occasionally. And if they do, and you're not sure if your windows were installed appropriately, if the materials are designed and tested the way they should, Window Nation needs to be your first call, and no better time than right now. 50% off all window styles, plus 0% interest for 60 months, and an additional 10% off for that Black Friday special I was talking about. The installing crews have years, decades in most cases, of experience installing windows. They do a 20-point installation inspection on every window to make sure they're installed correctly and everything is the way it should be. They can install your new windows in 1 day or less, so they're not taking up space in your house for a long period of time. And I just like to add this because it would give me peace of mind when it comes to spending cash. Window Nation's windows come with a lifetime warranty. As long as you're in the house, they're under warranty. So go ahead and give them a call. Set up a free, no-obligation quote and presentation where they can demonstrate the science that goes into their windows. Give them a call to set it up, 866-90-NATION to schedule now. That's 866-90-NATION to schedule now. Or you can visit windownation.com to schedule as well. That's windownation.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, UNC versus NC State. They have a rivalry football game going on this weekend. They just got a very, very interesting side plot, but the game will go on. We talk UNC State coming up next. Stick around.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go! It's Bo time.
Drive-through car washes are quick, but a mobile detailer gets to the nitty-gritty. Autobell Car Wash is the sweet spot between both. We quickly clean your car from the inside out to save you time. Get the app at autobell.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Terms and conditions apply.
'Tis the season to make memories that will last a lifetime. This Christmas, give the gift of love and commitment with a stunning engagement ring from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Take it from me, Marcy Bailey. An engagement ring is the gift of a lifetime. Unlock the magic of the season with a holiday proposal. At Bailey's Fine Jewelry, we understand that every love story is unique, and that's why we offer the widest selection of exquisite engagement rings to fit every style and budget. Bailey's provides an incredible 30-day money-back guarantee and a unique 100-day price protection, making it easier than ever to give the gift of forever this Christmas. Oh, and if you're already married, maybe it's time for Santa to upgrade your ring this year. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is voted best jeweler and best place to buy a diamond. We've made Christmas dreams come true since 1948. After all, every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
Shop Dell Technologies' Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We've had a lot of conversations today about Mack Brown's time as the head coach at UNC on their football team coming to a close. One that we're going to dive into further here is a simple question. The conversations have been largely high level, largely what about his tenured Mack Brown 2.0 wasn't good enough? What could he have done better? Who should replace him? What traits should they look for in a replacement? Those conversations, they're going to be there, and they need to. But UNC also has a game coming up this weekend. And that game is really important. And you may say, well, they got 6 wins. They're already bowl eligible. Well, it's really important to NC State. They're not bowl eligible yet. They want to get bowl eligible. It's really important to UNC seniors where, unless you're one of the lucky few that the NFL is calling, this is going to be the last time home game you put on your pads. You'll get a bowl game, but that could be, Birmingham with half your team opted out. It's not really the same. Like, this is senior day. It means something. And bowl eligibility for NC State, it means something. And Mack Brown's final game, it means something. So this rivalry game, how much does Mack Brown's firing change the game? I think it does. I think it changes the game.
Oh, yeah.
In a, tangible way. I believe UNC, the players, will rally to send their guy out with a win. And I'm not saying they will send out their guy. I'm saying they're going to rally with that as the intention. It changes the vibe around UNC after a hideous loss to Boston College last week. Right? It is now, we got to win one for him. This guy's been in the game for almost 5 decades. Like this dude has dedicated his life to coaching college football, and after all of that, the last shot he takes got to be a swish. And he recruited us, and he brought us here, and he put us together. Let's do this for him. And seniors, it's similar for you, similar vibe. So I do think it will just inherently change the aura or perspective of the UNC football team.
I did see someone, I think it was when we had YouTube Live, about 11 o'clock, when we had the YouTube Live going, reacting instantly to the Mack Brown news. And I think it was an NC State fan actually in the messages, in the comment section said, this came at the worst time because now this team's going to rally together and play their best on Saturday, and we need to actually win this one.
I don't think that's a completely jokey response. I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah, all right, there's something to that.
And also NC State publicly, I'll put it this way. Like Dave Doran publicly, I don't think can be as antagonistic to the other side. Because then it just feels like you're picking on a guy who just lost his job. So publicly, you kind of have to treat this one a little differently than you've had the last 3. Privately, if as long as you're in a room with people who you trust won't go out and rat you out, you can say the meanest, nastiest things possible. Like inside a huddle, you can't go back and quote that to your grandmother, if you know what I'm saying. And anyone that's been an athlete at any level probably gets the feeling. But you can say things like, let's send this old whatever to retirement. Let's put him out to pasture. You can be meaner than that even. Publicly, I don't think it plays. Privately, do whatever you got to do. I'll put it this way. My coach had rivals. We knew who those rivals were, and he let us know that he wanted to inflict professional suffering on them. That's you're allowed to do that in closed doors. Publicly, I don't think you should. I don't think you can. I think it'll come across as poor form. But that changes the way NC State looks at this game, at least when you're talking to the media. From a football standpoint, Mack Brown wasn't going to get any carries against NC State, and NC State wasn't going to have to tackle Mack Brown at all. That's Omarion Hampton's job. I don't think it changes I don't think you change your game plan. I don't think now they're gonna take more chances. I think Mack Brown over the length of his career has a pretty good track record of always making the decision that he thinks is best to help the team win. And I think this game he wants to win. So the decision-making won't be different. I don't think we're going to see a completely different, suddenly unleashed UNC team. I don't think it changes the football.
It's not like every 4th down we're going for it.
I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I think it would be hilarious. He's like, I've been waiting my whole life to have a situation where I wasn't worried about job security. I'm running the 3-quarterback formation. Let's get them all out there. This is my fever dream. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to go out there and he's going to make the decision that he thinks is most likely to have UNC win, which is no different than what he's been doing every game he's coached his entire career. It may change the effort. It may change the intensity. It may change the trash talk. It may change a touchdown celebration. It may change a few other things. I don't see it changing the football very much. And for NC State, I don't think they should let it change much because they got to go. They got to go win, right? They got to go win. They need to be bowl eligible. For NC State, there is something on the line. We talked with Mike Glennon earlier today, but actually you can catch out the Pack Therapy podcast, new episode this week, getting ready for NC State UNC from the NC State standpoint. I didn't realize this. Maybe it's because you remember the good for your buddies. I didn't realize he was at NC State when they didn't make a bowl early in his career. When he was the starter, they did, but one of the Russell Wilson years when he was backup, they didn't make a bowl game. So one of the listeners, and a question that we fielded, said, well, what's the difference in the schedule? Right? All the coaches always say they love these extra practices for like you get a bowl game, you get these extra practices. It's like another spring ball. But what's the schedule if you don't make it? And Mike was like, you go home.
Yeah.
For a long time. Mm-hmm. The longest you're home for most of the calendar year is like a week, right? You might get 2 either before or after spring sessions get started, or summer sessions get started at school. But you really don't go home if you're an out-of-state guy for more than like a week at a time throughout your 4 or 5 years in college. And he said after we didn't make a bowl game, he was home for like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks. And you don't really watch a ton of film. You work out in like your high school gym, but imagine coaches. College football coaches, and actually, Dennis, you might even have been this with a college, different sports coach.
Yeah,
control freaks. You want to know, like, it's not just are my players working out? I gave them a workout. It's did the strength and conditioning coach see them at the beginning of the workout, count every rep, and report back that they did the workout? Like they want to know. Imagine after a season just saying, "See you in a month." Like they don't. I want that bowl game. I want those practices. Yeah. I want extra. I want to know where they are. I want practice every morning, 8 a.m., report to the training table for pre-practice meal at 6. Because that means you can't be out doing all kinds of crazy stuff the night before. And if you still do the crazy stuff and I hear about it, we'll go to a 6 o'clock practice, be there for pre-practice meal at 4. Like coaches want to know where their players are. Making a bowl game is important. So that's what NC State's playing for. On the surface, you look at this, it's a 5-win team against a 6-win team at the end of a season in which the conference, even if they were competing at the top of the conference, might get 1 or 2 teams into the expanded 12-team playoff. This is not the way I described it on Twitter was this is a very movable object against an extremely stoppable force. It is some teams that have not had the season go the way they want it to go. But if you dive in a little further, these are 2 wildly motivated teams that are going to scratch and claw for different reasons. It's a rivalry. You're playing for your coach's last game. You're playing for bowl eligibility. You're playing for bragging rights. NC State's won 3 of these things in a row. There's a senior, right, that came in and played as a true freshman who is trying to go his entire career without losing to UNC. And there are seniors at UNC that came in and played as a true freshman that are trying to not go their entire 4 years without beating NC State. Mm-hmm. There is motivation in this game to fight to the echo of the whistle all over the place. Even if, you ask somebody from like Oklahoma, they're going to look at it and be like, oh yeah, I guess they're close, so it's probably a rivalry. I'll watch them in basketball season. Even if that's their thought, internally you see the 900 different ways that this game matters. And the Mack Brown firing earlier today changes it, but I don't think it makes it less important. I think it makes it more important. I think it gives you more reasons to scratch and claw.
And there's been a lot of wild finishes over the last few years when it comes to, and just some crazy games. Like, for example, a couple of years ago when it was Ben Finley playing quarterback for NC State on the road at Keenan, NC State getting the win. The Emeka and Mesley, 2 touchdowns, late in the game. There's been a lot of different stuff, that comeback that NC State had a few years ago. Yeah, Mack Brown doesn't want to have that be part of his end legacy of 2.0. Yeah, we're like, I couldn't beat the rival from down the road. He doesn't want it to be part of that for sure.
And I said this earlier, firing him and then having him coach the last game does feel like a forced kind of retirement tour in one game.
Yeah.
Walking off the field after a win, he turns and waves to the crowd. That's a nice moment.
Oh yeah.
For all the bad, 10 years from now, no one's going to remember how it ended. Everybody's going to remember Mack Brown as the coach of North Carolina and the good. that moment, that picture is one that you you remember for a long time if you are in that program, especially if you are Coach Brown, which is something I believe he wants.
If that's his swan song where he walks off the field at Keenan being like, hey, I got the win against the rival and I kept them out of a bowl game. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. Thank you. You're welcome. And where's the first tee? Yeah. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of that game, Wolfpack Weekly with Dave Doran will be coming up next right here on 99.9 The Fan. Recorded pre-Mack Brown news, so don't expect a lot of insight into the Crosstown Rivals coaching situation. But that is coming up next right here on 99.9 The Fan. I will not see you till after the holiday, so enjoy Paul Ihander and Graham Hill tomorrow, and I look forward to recapping the weekend that's upcoming next Monday. Have a great holiday. Stay safe if you're traveling. Enjoy the sports, and subscribe to us on YouTube. See ya.
You've got the gobbler? We've got a Thanksgiving football feast for you. Chicago and Detroit at 1, the New York Giants and Dallas at 4:30, and Miami and Green Bay at 8:20.
Caught by Goff.